This is me, I'm so royal, and you all wanna be round.
All right, welcome into season 3, everybody. Or season 5, week 3. Whatever. Nobody's here yet.
Yep, season 5. Yeah, excited to have some more, LCC action underway. I think it's kind of crazy that we're already at week 3 here. So yeah, season well underway at this point, and some of these head-to-heads, obviously, we won't see every team play everybody else until the week 5 in the season. So still some matchups that we haven't seen yet, as the table is going to fill out over the next couple weeks.
Over the next couple weeks, we're going to fill it out. Right now, it's only 2 weeks of results, and we've got an immediate top, middle, and bottom groups. And today, we're going to see our top groups face off against the bottom, and then the middle will kind of break us out. And so we should have a lot more separation of the table after today.
Yeah, there's always a chance for these teams that have started 0-2 to pick up wins, though, right? I think that the games last week were a lot closer than they were in week 1. Week 2 definitely proved to be a tighter, more action-packed week. And, I think that week 3 we could be in for the same. But, yeah, you are right. We've got some of our teams that have been off to a hot start, taking off against a couple of, our other teams that have stumbled out of the gates. So we'll have to see if they're able to bounce back here, or if they are struggle to pick up and find their first win.
But we can go ahead and get into our presentation for the week. We have our week 5 presentation brought to you, the LCC brought to you as always by Oasis Gaming. Get away from the toxicity and game with us at the Oasis. Go Humps.
Go Humps. Also brought to you by the Lilac Lion Photography. Capture an instant for eternity. Visit the lilaclionphotography.com today. If you've got a wedding in the Charlotte area, quickly becoming one of the best and most coveted wedding photographers in the Charlotte metropolitan area.
And finally brought to you by Dr. Pepper, established in 1885 out of Waco, Texas. Crack open a cold one with us tonight and enjoy those 23 perfect flavors and ingredients. And with that, we get to our standings page. We have the Targon Titans and the Bandle City Bucks leading off at 2-0. Solid start for them. Bucks, I'm excited to see with a strong look to start the season. Titans, I think nobody's surprised to see the Titans remaining at the top of the standings, our Season 3 champions. Then followed by the Freljord Frost and the Bilgewater Bullets, who will be facing off against each other tonight. And then the Zon Plague and Scorch, who are sitting at 0-2, the bottom of the table, and are looking to pick up their first wins. Zon Plague on deck for our first match, and they have a bit of a shakeup for us going into week 3.
Yeah, Crispy, the 2-time finals MVP, the 2-time champion himself, is returning to the starting lineup for the Zon Plague after a 2-week hiatus. So excited to get back into the starting roster there for Zon, and it's going to be a new look. Once he is part of that roster, part of that team. They definitely had their bright moments early on, especially TJ. really did look good in the top lane for Zon, just unable to carry it out. And we do want to say a special thank you to Izzy for stepping in for those 2 matches as a short-term contract. Was fantastic to get the games played, get the matches played. And yeah, unfortunately they were 0-2, but they had things that they could build on, right? Things that as a team they could work on and improve. And with Crispy added to the lineup, I think that could be the edge that they need to bolster their chances to win tonight.
Yeah. And talking about the win tonight, we can go over to our schedule for the evening. We have coming up for you on deck, Zon Plague versus the Bandle City Bucks playing at 7 p.m. Then we'll get into the Targon Titans versus Scorch. Both of these matchups to open up the evening are 2-0 versus our 0-2 teams. And so really looking to see the Scorch and the Plague punch up and pick up their first win here in week 3. And then we'll have our 2 1-1 rosters, the Failure with Frost and the Bullets, facing off at 9 p.m.
Yeah, absolutely. Really quick, want to thank Kalka for the Prime sub. Make sure get it out of the way so you don't have to watch any ads for tonight's action or anything else for the rest of the month. We go live every Thursday at the same time, about 30-20 minutes before our game time. But yeah, all 3 of our matchups tonight. I mean, the one that I'll be in is our featured matchup. So I went ahead and I put some Jag stats in there for you. Once you get there, and we've got a surprise caster joining us tonight for the broadcast, as Kalka and I will be we'll be busy, we'll be playing the game, so we've got somebody coming on that hopefully you guys will enjoy. But yeah, our first 2 matchups, Zon versus Bandle City and Targon versus Scorch. I guess let's get into the 7 o'clock match that's just ahead of us, huh?
Let's get into it. So as we mentioned previously, Zon Plague 0-2 going against the Bandle City Bucks 2-0. Plague are bringing in their ringer. Crispy is returning to the active play for the Plague and will be trying to lead his team to a victory. The 2-time finals MVP. I will get into our rundown. Zon Plague, TJ in the top lane, who's had a stellar start. We're getting playoff TJ in the regular split, and I'm so excited about that. Griff, who has had a little bit of a rocky start in the jungle, but showing some promise as a rookie. Leroy as well. And we mentioned previously, with Izzy on the roster, this was previously TJ and 4 rookies. And so TJ and Crispy, veterans of the league, but Leroy, Griff, and McDonald's all start getting their feet wet and still could have some of those stage nerves. So excited to see this team come together. Leroy in the mid lane, Crispy, you know him, you love him on AD carry, and then McDonald's keeping it real on support.
Yeah, and the bot lane is going to look new for Zon. We saw the mid jungle continue to they looked better in week 2 than they did in week 1. I expect them to continue to improve week over week. And to be honest, they really pushed my team, Bilgewater, pretty far. They were able to have a gold lead late into the game. They just weren't able to close that one out. So this easily could have been a 1-1 roster. And again, bringing in Crispy, over the past 2 seasons, finals MVP in both, champions in both, really shows up when it matters. Now, it is just the regular season, so you can't put too much emphasis on a single game, but I think a lot of eyes are going to be on Zon here in week 3 just to see what they look like now. This is their full roster, so what does this team actually look like? And then their opponents tonight on the red side, it's going to be the Bandle City Buckaroos in the top lane, Gemsy. In the jungle, rookie Most. In the mid lane, veteran mid laner and carry player as well, the flex himself is Hope. At the carry position, one of our longest standing players in the LCC, it's Inferno. And rounding it out at support, it's rookie Shadow.
Bucks, go Bucks as always. I have disclosed ownership in the Bandle City Bucks. I was a founding member, and I'm always excited to see them do well, especially to start the season 2-0 is a great look. Inferno continuing to live up to the expectations that he set at the end of season 4, really punching up after a rough start to the LCC career, and showing that experience and that improvement week over week really adds up over time. Gemsy as well, continuing the opening up the season with a first blood and then chasing more in week 2. And gonna see what he can pull out here today against the Titans against TJ. But TJ, a very conservative player, he's gonna be chasing that one down. But excited to see the shape of the Bucks going into tonight. Shadow Kitten and Moss have also been bright spots, so the Bucks all around, there's a lot to be happy about.
Yeah, Bandle City's looked very good in the first 2 weeks. The question is the strength of their opponents. They've played into Bilgewater and Shurima, and now Zon here. Again, this is the first week with Zon, so the only question is the strength of their opponents. But they've looked really good. Most has come in and hit the ground running. Shadow Kitten out week 1. We saw them play their first match last week in week 2 on the Nico. And really picked it up quite easily. Beautiful pop blossoms in the middle of team fights, and they were able to push to the lead. But of course, the shining star for this roster has been Hope in the mid lane. 2 games of Ari, incredible numbers on the Ari. I can pull it up really quickly. I've got it right here. Just
stats, man.
Almost
Bring
a flawless KDA for
picking up Medjai's in both
him
matches
so far.
as well.
Yeah, he's sitting here at exactly 25, 1, and 18. So only 1 death over 2 games and 25 kills in 2 RE games. Definitely looking strong, looking dominant with that pick. So I would expect that to be prioritized quite heavily here in this matchup. And I'd be interested to see what Leroy has prepared either into it or what they're expecting Hope to go to after that's banned out. Meanwhile, Most, known for his AD aggressive junglers, we saw Jarvan. I think what was it in week 2? It was
Poppy, wasn't it?
I don't know. It was Poppy. It was the Poppy counter to the Jarvan. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm expecting like the Nefiri, the Talon, the Ambessa, things like that to come out. But we'll see. If he's been putting some practice in, maybe he's got some other playstyles. Maybe he has an AP jungler or 2 that he's been able to pick up. Maybe he's learned how to play tanks. I think Most is putting his name in the ring as the early season favorite for best jungler. So definitely
has been pulling up
pushing
bans
his
as well
team to
on
victory here.
picks that we haven't even seen come to the stage yet. So I think there's a lot to discover about Most as we go through. We're 652.
So far, Hope and Most.
Yeah, go ahead.
So far, Hope and Most have been the best mid-jungle duo in the league. And the question is that going to maintain? Are they going to be able to keep that up? Because if they are, I'm not sure how a lot of these teams are going to answer it. I think, when you look at the LCC, the mid-jungle duos are not necessarily the strong points for a lot of these teams. And Battle City, they could absolutely look to just find that seam, find their niche, and be able to win games through that. It was brutal watching Scorch play them last week. It felt hopeless, and
there's plenty of hope. That was the problem.
For the members.
Yeah, I'd say if you're going up against the Bucks, you really need to keep an eye on where does Moss start, where does Moss get around the map, and if you're banning him off of this Talon pick that we've seen rumors about in the darkness. That's the kind of pick that makes it really difficult to track where he's going. Any picks that allow him to get over walls, but if he's pushed onto a pick that can't get over walls, he's gonna have to have more narrow approaches. And so keeping an eye on Moss and trying to make sure that Hope doesn't get rolling with repeated ganks, being very cautious when you have your flash down in the mid lane, I think those are going to be crucial when you're going up against the Bucks.
Yeah, this match is definitely a welcome back Crispy, but it is also a lot of pressure onto Griffin Leroy to stand up to the challenge of Most and Hope. If they can do that, I trust the scaling of Zon. I trust the team fight of TJ and Crispy and the rest of that team there to be able to team fight well. Of course, Inferno, no slouch either at this point in the team fights, but I do trust Crispy in the team fights. Once his team gets there, the question is, can Most and Hope pretty much blitz the game and stop it from even being a problem?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm looking to see here. It'll be interesting to see how the draft changes, what comes out. Crispy didn't get Ezreal all of season 3. Do they leave Ezreal up? Yeah, be interested, very interested. One final thing to note here before we are about to head into pick ban is the live patch. So
right.
A couple big changes on this patch. What's your big takeaway? The biggest takeaway for you from the patch notes?
You're the one playing on the stage, so I haven't kept as close up with the patch notes. I think for me, one is that Belveth continues to get tamped down, and I'm always happy about that. I don't like playing into Belveth. It's usually very oppressive when she is strong. We also see nerfs into the roaming Camille. I'm glad to see that knocked down. I think there's so many other healthier supports. We don't typically see much Azir in the league, but if anybody's going to pull it out, I would expect it to be Hope. I don't think we're going to see that this week. But Kennan's one to watch out for as we get into our next match with the Scorch.
Yeah, for me, is the 3MR that they added onto all the AD carries enough to get mages out of the bot lane? I'm not convinced, personally. I think if you take a look at the win rates in bot lane, it's still very mage heavy, mage prio. So we'll have to see if it's actually enough. It's just a flat 3.
Well, in addition to the flat 3, there's
so
also all of these adjustments to AD carry items, in addition to an early pickup, the boots. Berserker agrees seeing a 25% attack buff, as well as a 5% attack buff at base, and then as well as at evolve.
Yeah, but the Berserker Greaves weren't the only boots that got touched, right? We saw Black Cleaver actually getting touched away from AD carries, so Senna and Smolder will not enjoy it as much. This is a buff. It's not really a buff, it's just a nerf for ranged abusers of Black Cleaver. Melee users of Black Cleaver, it's still a fine item. Like Renekton is still completely fine there. But, yeah, we take a look at, these, mid laner mage boots. The Magic Pen got pretty substantial 2% buff on those. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what where the meta shakes out with only 1 day of data. How much are they willing to completely bend their draft and kind of play around what is an option for this team. So yeah, I'm not sure which team is going to make the biggest change or the biggest move first. We've seen Inferno definitely open to picking mages recently, but then also very prevalent on the AD carries as well.
I think Smolder is going to remain a high priority pick within the LCC. I don't really see that changing. It just gives you such a solid win condition. You get to your Elder Dragon, you have a AD carry that can win the game for you. And it's just kind of, I think, as simple as that within the LCC. We don't see a lot of really heavy, aggressive early games that are trying to shut down the Smolder, close out the game. Those are always harder to execute, to close out a game earlier on. And trying to have that late game assurance, I think, always makes our teams feel more comfortable. And that's why we see some of these evergreen picks, such as Smolder, come through. But I'm always excited to see some other things pop up. I love when Kaisa comes through. I like to have some more interactive lanes than just sit and farm. And yeah, I'm curious to see what we have tonight. I know that Nasus received an adjustment. Is it going to make him stronger in the top lane, or is this just getting him out of the jungle?
Both. Yeah, it's a slight change to his top lane. Instead of 3 stacks, he will get 4 for everything that would have given him 3. He now gets 4. But then also for everything that would have given him 12, he now gets 10. So all those jungle monsters that he was getting 12 off of, he's only stacking those for 10 now. So it is going to slow down his stack ramp in jungle primarily, and it is a 33% increase in lane for top lane. So it's not just the nerf from 12 to 10, but it's also the buff from 3 to 4, and that's pretty substantial for top lane Nasus. We'll see if it's enough to actually get him picked. I think there are some top lane picks that can absolutely abuse a Nasus that are very much in the meta right now. Vayne top has been around high prevalency for a while, and Nasus has a real hard time into that. So we'll see.
Definitely the eyeball check, though, that if you would hit 100 Qs before, you would be at 300 stacks, and being at 400, it's an extra 100 AD for doing the exact, or 100 on hit for your Q doing the exact same action. So definitely, it's a buff to the lane, regardless of how you look at it. Missing those cannons, I can't imagine is going to, because they're going to be missed anyway, right? So. Right. Who's counting those ones? But I was thinking about it because we have TJ coming up in our match here, but we've just crested over to 7 p.m. Let me get into our lobby and see how our teams are shaping up.
Yep, I think we are pretty much ready to go.
We are cooking.
looks like our teams are ready. So, yeah, excited for this matchup. Obviously, you know, it's the regular season, but it is Zon has to start feeling a little bit of pressure here. And with Crispy coming back, they've got to feel like their chances are good, but they're starting at that deficit, right? That 0-2. Meanwhile, Bandle City, it's the exact opposite. They're flying high, flying free. Hope has looked incredible. If we gave an MVP for 2 weeks, he would be the MVP after 2 weeks. And so he's got to be feeling great as we head into Pick Van here for match number 1 of week 3 between Zon Plague and the Bandle City Buckaroos.
Yep, it's been a stellar performance so far, and I know the Bucks have got to be happy with it. I'm checking out on a couple things, but I do believe we are ready to go here. Yep, I got this stuff good. Beautiful. We're going to do our draft. Ari Band coming out to start us off. I think nobody's shocked here. It gets through 2 weeks in a row. Everybody remembers, oh, we used to ban that into Hope as he moves back into the mid lane. He got 2 weeks for free. Oh, I would have loved 2 weeks of Igar. But Zeri ban coming through against Crispy. This is another one that we saw as a perennial ban into him in addition to the Ezreal. So Zeri taken away. Heavy carry pick. And the Vayne taken away as well. So the Vayne, do you think this has got to be just for Crispy, right?
Yeah, it's interesting to me because
strong right
Ezreal... Vayne's okay. Vayne's very playable. But Ezreal also very playable. And pretty much was guaranteed ban into Targon in Season 3. Left up here, so still an option.
Triple 80
Riven is the other notable pick that is left up. So
Riven left up, but we have seen Griff. That TJ's signature is Cho'Gath, who can answer Riven, so maybe if we get to the second round, red side, they do have counter pick. Perhaps they will be forced into picking a Cho'Gath in the first 3. We'll see what it goes down to. And an early hover and then Kai'Sa locked in for Crispy, presumably. So 380 carries banned out and then first picking up the Kai'Sa. What do you think?
Griff is a bit of a Briar one trick, though, so to leave Briar open, I can't see it getting through the next part. So I'm assuming that they have an answer into it and that they're comfortable playing into the Briar. He's just so much better on the Briar. In my estimation, in my opinion, he is so much better on the Briar. He's excellent at piloting that champion. But it looks like they have a plan for the Kai'Sa. It is going to be Zyrakan. And it feels like Season 8 all over again. How many times did we see Kai'Sa in bot lane? So, excited to see it here. Thresh picked up. Thresh is
cut 80 carry support
coming
through first thing. And this Malphite is a flex pick, but almost certainly will be going up top lane to TJ.
Yep. So they've got the dive in here. Malphite going in, Kai'Sa going in.
So this does leave
Thresh
open
is one of the strongest
Riven.
champions on the patch right now. So yeah, we'll have to see. Riven doesn't really love to play into Malphite.
Doesn't love it.
Of course, you can make it work. So
I've got to hype up the option that we could have it, but no, we're going to have a wet noodle fight in top lane, Ornn into Malphite. So I don't think either one should be able to build up too much of a gold lead. I don't imagine that Gemsy's going to have an easy time searching for that first blood, but we'll see if he can dig it up as we get into our second round of bans. Annie coming out first.
Yeah, interested to see the Ornn because Ornn has a much easier time itemizing and then beating Malphite. We've also seen TJ likes to build AP first item on the Malphite, so
it pairs really well with Annie. I imagine that's why this is being taken away for Leroy.
But Briar is still not picked here.
And Hope Syndra
so it looks
banned
like
away now.
Pushing it off here.
It's top 2 picks taken off the table, but they may save last pick counter pick for him. Griff and Moss junglers also not revealed quite yet.
Be interested. It's looking like it's shaping up to be a mid lane counter pick, which means they've gotten the counter in Ornn, and they're gonna get a mid lane counter too. So double counter pick here for.
Is Leroy the Vladimir player that we've seen before? I don't think so. I'd be shocked to see Vladimir come
Leroy
through,
has.
but so this band's confusing me.
When we did the scouting on Leroy, he had about 80,000 experience on every single champion. So.
Okay, Kalka got a shout out that Leroy plays Vlad.
Yep.
I'm looking at this team, and Vladimir pairs well with Malphite classically just because of the damage buff and the team fight ability. But it's a curious one to me, and we've got a hover here for Hope on Silas. This is a pick we've seen him feel comfortable with in the past, and it's into Malphite, so this is the danger of picking that Malphite early on while Silas is still up, and Silas making it through the round of bans. Could have been banned out here. This is a smart pick. I like it.
Good takeaway from Leroy as well. Leroy played Silas last week, so a heads up play here after the Syndra and the RR ban. So if Hope's going to carry in this match, he's going to have to do it on a new champion that we have not seen him pilot so far. Hui selected here. That actually is the first bit of change. Instead of all dive, looks Hui typically likes a very standard front to back. So a bit of a twist here in the draft. And Briar, that is the one that makes sense. So Hui is the odd one out. Doesn't really line up with how the rest of this draft wants to play, but very straightforward draft for Zon. It's go in and go often, and that is the draft. Meanwhile, the counter, it's Zyra Khan, Ornn, and Victor is selected here. So it's a Silas jungle, Victor mid lane pivot. And yeah, interesting pick here. So I was just mentioning in the pregame, in the pre-show, if Silas jungle, if AP jungles were going to be an option for Most, it looks like he has laid down the gauntlet with the Silas here. I like the scaling. Is it too heavy scaling? Silas, Victor, Xayah, Ornn, are they just going to get beat in the mid and the mid game fights? Kai'Sa, Briar, Malphite very strong in the middle of the game here. So I will say if it goes too late, I do like the Victor, Xayah, Ornn. All very heavy scaling here for Vandal City, but I like how straightforward it is for Zap to play.
I'm really curious about the Briar into Silas duel. Who wins in an early game showdown, and how does this shake out? I'm looking at the 2v2s. I'm thinking Hui Briar should have more overall burst and kill pressure than Silas Victor in the early game, especially. Victor taking some time to scale up into that damage role, really leveraging the CC and then the shield to win trades rather than just raw damage. Ornn and Malphite, not even going to look at them. Ornn has more damage in the 2v2, but neither of them is going to be that big of a player in the damage department until later. Talk to me about the 2v2 bot lane where we've got Kai'Sa, Thresh, Zyra, Khan. Who's going to have Prio? Who's going to have the early...
It's a 50-50 lane, and it's a skill matchup. So the one thing about it is if Kai'Sa can get some gold early and get to her evolutions early, she can really start to take over the map with the Prey Seeker being able to, ultimate in, find the space, find the outplays. Meanwhile, Rakan actually is the one that has a lot to do here for the side of Vandal City. So it's up to Shadow to see if the Grand Entrance will be able to land. Pretty easy for Kai'Sa to dodge that out, but Hui, meanwhile, could be the target of quite a bit of these picks. We'll have to see who they end up going for, who they end up targeting. I'm not sure I like the peel, but I do really like the engage from Rakan and Ornn. I think Xayah and Victor are going to have to kind of self-peel a bit, if I'm being honest, and it might be too much if Briar and Kai'Sa can get in onto the backline, onto similar targets, and Malphite can lock up, one or two in the front of the fight or even onto the side of the fight. Briar and Kai'Sa, they're not going to take long to cut down these members. As long as Ornn isn't there, everybody else on that team is pretty squishy, so I think Silas it's very important for Silas to land some consistent CC so that the healing can come through, the mitigation can come through, and then either Kai'Sa or Briar on the backline can get cut down. From there, they should be able to push through the team fight. So I'm kind of looking for picks on the side of Zon and dives. But it's going to be, again, early and often, they're going to be looking for picks and dives all game long. Really difficult game for Leroy to play here on the Hui. Meanwhile, Victor and Zaya, you know that you're going to be targeted, so Hope and Inferno, hope you've been practicing, hope you've been dodging those skill shots, because it's all on your backs here. If you get hit with those Prey Seekers and go down, it's your fault. But if your team, if you can dodge them out, then your team should win, and you'll be the reason why. So do they have what it takes? Is it enough? Vandal City's looked really good so far. Definitely a pivot for them. The Victor is very different from the Ari. And then, of course, welcome back Crispy to Zon. They're going to be looking to, make moves here, make a play.
Yeah, get your predictions in. I've just thrown us to a quick ad break before we get onto the Rift. For game 1 of the night, hopefully keep our ad breaks out of the action, but go ahead and get your sub in otherwise. Of course, if you haven't subbed, you will be currently in an ad break, so have fun with that. Shout out to all the real ones here, either using an ad blocker or are subscribed. We cannot turn them off, so you have to deal with the ads. And we do our best to make sure they don't pop up in a game.
Yeah, I added some new buttons today. I was actually going to click them right before we went in, but that was a good time. Let's go ahead and I'm going to fast forward to make sure I'm caught up to live. And I'm at 40 seconds.
I am fast forwarding. I'm about to cut us over. You're at 40 seconds?
50 seconds. Yep.
I'm still...
Nothing has happened.
I'm at 115. What do you mean?
Oh, you're ahead of me then. I'm at 1 minute right now.
Ow, what? Keep going. I'm at 124 live.
Okay, I'll let you know when I catch up to 124.
Yep, nothing is happening now. I mean, I'm continuing. I'm letting it run. But no action to speak of at the moment.
You need to pause it so I can catch up.
What? All right,
what time are you
I'm
at?
peeved. I'm at 138 paused, but I hate you,
Okay,
Riot.
I'll let you
this
know
is
in there.
infuriating.
I'm literally as caught up as I can be. I'm at 128, 29, 30, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. All right, should be good to go. Should be at the same time now.
Count it down. Go. All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
What time are you at?
154. 155. I said I paused. I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to start spectating and talking through the game at 7, 8, 9. We have an invade attempt on the top side for Most, looking for something in the enemy blue side jungle, trying to catch that clear up from red to blue, but Griff clearing from blue side down to the red side, going to be able to completely avoid that. Most spotted moving through the jungle, but man, a first blood pickup at a Gemsy in the top side does find TJ under the tower, flashing out, not going to give the trade kill back. Up a wave of farm and picking up a first blood. An incredible start for Gemsy on the Ornn. And I didn't think you'd be able to find it in this matchup. 44, 45,
Yep.
46.
Okay. All
Want me
right.
to pause at 3?
Nope, we're good. I think
Okay.
55, 56, right? We're good.
You're 1
Close
second
enough.
behind.
Okay. All right,
But
should be good now. All right, Griff
both
is
junglers
gonna
gonna meet each
has
other
double
here.
buffs. Looking at Scuttle. Most is here, but
Yep,
just
Griff
finishing his blue, so
knows that he's on this, looking for the
this.
chain over, but Abscon not going to connect. Griff should be able to finish this. We'll pick it up, and now on to Moss, who will be the first to react.
Yeah, they're taking this fight. They fight bot side as well. Moss brought very low, but Hope early on the roam here is going to show up early, but a nice little lantern out from McDonald's will mean that the play just stalls out and nobody goes down. Nice find there from Griff onto Moss, though, in the jungle. That's up 8 farm early on in this matchup, so taking advantage of the Briar comfortability here.
Yep, I like the adaptation. You can see that Moss is an experienced jungler. He tries to go for the invade and then rotating over, spots out the early Krug or the Scuttle take, and then tries to roam over to defend it, or to pick it up, but immediately picked up, and I think Griff does win the
Big hook
1v1
here
in
from
Moss.
McDonald's. They landed onto Shadow. Shadow Grand Entrance will try and get some trade back. good trading here from Inferno to try and actually even that back. Beautiful blade color will find the root on a Crispy under tower. So a 1 trade after the hook lands, and it was not the death sentence that Zom was hoping for.
Griff and Moss gonna face off again at the Scuttle, but Hope already there. Doesn't have much mana to speak of, but Moss smiting away the Scuttle will secure one of them for himself, and both of our junglers getting into their second round of clears. TJ holding on the top side now, being doubled in CS, forced under the tower as Gemsy keeps up the pressure early on.
Yeah, and we missed it, the solo bolo from Gemsy topside, but
I saw
TJ
it.
is
Yeah.
in a bad setup here. Down a level, getting pushed in. That's already a second plate over to Gemsy. He's just going to put the ward in and get the reset going. So Gemsy already really putting the hurt on, and this is in a matchup that, you know, he's into Ornn. We haven't seen him play much Ornn, but it is a tank versus tank matchup that is pretty... I think Ornn is just much easier to play, to be honest. So looking for
he's
some
got so
trades
much
here.
Power in these trades. TJ really his only option is to throw his abilities and then walk off. He's got the shield to try to fight through trades. Gemsy ticking over to 6, so he's now got that Call of the Forge God. And we've got a Briar gank attempt setting up in the bot side as Moss will be spotted out by a nice ward, heads-up ward from Leroy.
Yeah, Leroy, beautiful find there, able to spot that out. Ward now in onto Dragon as Most is contemplating it, but only level 5, does not have the level 6, will start the Dragon. It's a teleport back from Hope, so they're believing that it's going to be enough of a pressure point in lane. Meanwhile, there's no teleport topside for TJ. TJ also only level 5, so Ornn could show up here.
He's going to be spotted out. They've got the hook, teleporting in on the mid lane.
To do it's teleport in from Leroy, finding it, but the Dragon is about to go down, and they decide to not contest at the end of it. And instead, it is just going to be first neutral objective picked up and going over to Vandal City.
Vandal City with the momentum at the moment. TJ ticks over to level 6, and that's really the crucial point for Malphite. We'll have to see where the first Unstoppable Force is invested as he goes for a reset. He could redeploy out to mid lane. Griff knows that that Dragon took a while, so going to pick up these Raptors. Perhaps the respawning red buff. Not sure if he has the timer on that one.
Yeah, this is an aggressive invade here, and Most is coming out of base right now and is going to walk into this. So we'll see if Leroy is able to connect or if Hope is going to roam over early. We have to pay attention here to the junglers and what happens. It looks like Most just now finding out that his camp is taken, and here he is walking in onto the red. Griff is there. It's down to half HP. Griff instead will just dash over the wall and will seed it over to the jungle of Vandal City. TY for Leash.
A little bit more aggressive, and he might have been able to pick that up, and that I think it should have ticked him over to 6. But knowing that he doesn't have 6, Moss decides to back off and take the safe route when his jungle.
Meanwhile, counter invade
here.
Look at Most and Hope on a big roam. It's in onto the blue buff, and they're looking. It's only level 5 for the jungler. Griff flash out, but Most will look to just flash forward. Takes the ultimate. It's unable to escape though as they commit everything. Gemsy there with a Call to Forge God as well. Will send it, and now double buffs for Most, and Griff goes down, cut down in his own jungle. A nice hijack there from Most, able to take the Briar ulti. That's one of the worst parts about playing into Sylas is you're not level 6 and he takes your ulti.
Yep, that one always feels bad. And one thing I want to highlight as Moss stands here is this double pink ward setup that Moss and Hope have put down. And you can see them playing around that vision control, going for that invade. And that's really something that you can look week to week. They are investing vision around the mid lane to be able to set up this priority in towards ganking and playing around Hope's ability to rotate and control the wave. And so Leroy needs to make sure that he is aware of where Hope is looking to rotate and can play tempo with the wave as the game goes forward. We've got early movement down, one Scuttle, or one Kevin already picked up. These will go over to BCB.
Yeah, TJ not going to contest. Let's take a quick check-in on our lanes. I want to look at bot lane farm as Crispy and McDonald. They've been a bit quiet as a hook will go down for McDonald. It's in onto Inferno, and here's the ultimate in from Griff. It will connect. A beautiful find there, but what an incredible Featherstorm as Inferno will dodge out most of the damage. There's the combos. The passive connects through, and Kaisa able to get on the board. Welcome back, Crispy. He finds a kill.
That's where you want the gold to land if you're getting back in the game. And there's a first kill on the board for the Zon Plague. Nice pickup to kind of get that momentum back in their favor. They got 2 minutes till the next dragon spawns for neutral objectives. Griff picking up that 6 and then immediately finding a kill with it is exactly what they need to get back in things.
Yeah, so not only the kill, but also 20 farm and a plate. So they will, if we take a look at the gold differential, up 700 or so gold here in bot lane. A nice start here, but down 1,000. Bandle City has the 1k gold lead. They've got the dragon, they've got the void grubs, and dragon in 90 seconds here. We could see them continue to prioritize these neutral objectives that they've had control over so far.
Yeah, nickel and diming to add up to that 1,000 across the top side of the map. Hope, Most, and Gemsy all sitting in an advantage as far as the gold goes. And you mentioned 20 CS up in the bot lane. Gemsy 30 CS up in the top side with a kill and an assist. 2 takedowns for the first blood. Is he the first blood king now that Whisper has left the stage? Gemsy has been showing us every week that you got to be up heads up plays in those early levels.
Yeah, another one, another notch to his name there. Another first blood, but yeah, I mean, at this point, they're just tanks into each other. Interesting buy here, actually, in my opinion, the Protoplasm first purchase. Not a bad second or third item, but I don't see it first very often. So this might be some of that new patch hotness that we mentioned.
New patch hotness, always a thing to watch out for. You know, that item sometimes just makes somebody feel absolutely unkillable. And if Most and Gemsy can both survive at low HP, the Protoplasm and then the Silas Kingslayer, it's just going to keep him so healthy in these team fights. And so where's the heal cut going to come out for both for the Zon Plague? Flash forward out of McDonald's.
Flash flay in onto Inferno. Inferno will Featherstorm out, but a Relentless Hunter as all of a sudden the certain death from Briar will go wide, and Most is here to try and answer this. They turn one as down goes McDonald's. Can they get Crispy? They find him with the beautiful ranged play, and what a counter gank from Most himself as the Bandle City Buckaroos escape the engage.
Yeah, both junglers have their eyes on the bot side as this dragon comes up. But Leroy in base, gonna preserve his teleport this time around. That might be a visual bug, though. I want to say he teleported more recently than that. So I'm not sure that it is up. But Hope on the rotate over, but unfortunately, yeah, the Griff ulti going wide, and now second dragon going over. That's third neutral in a row. 2 BCB, they're off to a great start.
I will say once Hope got this Blackfire Torch completed, the lane has really changed. So Leroy now finishing.
May see Most with another dive over,
to even things out. It is going to be the Magnet Storm in under tower, and they lock him up and burn him down. And that is the mid jungle duo that we talked about in the pregame, connecting once again under tower. We saw it. It was a Poppy last week with the Hextech Flash. The Hex Flash over the wall, and this week it is the dash over with Silas, but they connect again and find another kill. Beautiful play here from the mid jungle of Bandle City.
Yeah, you're going to want to watch your Raptor pits, watch these side pinks, because Most is making the most of them, but we could be caught out here. Griff with early damage down, drops him to half. Able to escape.
Yeah, unable to take that all in because his mid laner is not there after the turn. So I think that was potentially a kill angle if Leroy's able to roam over. However, because he's down, because he had just been ganked and killed mid, unable to capitalize on that. So a nice little tempo play there from Griff, but it's not going to turn into anything. And yeah, 1 to 5 here in kills, about a 3.3k gold lead for the Buckaroos.
Donald's and Crispy continuing to play for vision in the bottom side. They're trying to keep Inferno and Shadow Kitten cornered down in here in the bottom side of the map, build up their advantage, but Inferno managing to keep this CS lead from ballooning too badly so far. Both teams feel ready to make another play. Griff's got the Briar ultimate to chase down. What's that one called again? Relentless Hunger or something?
Death.
Certain Death. One of you. Somebody's gonna die every time that Briar ult drops.
It might be Briar. Yep.
It might be Briar.
All right, Gemsy looking to push. Look at that massive trade there from the Ornn, and that's I don't think it's very playable for Malphite at a certain point. Meanwhile, Griff with certain death looking to try and make a play here. McDonald's only level 7 on the Thresh. Has given over some of the solo.
Moss is here. Neither team is aware that the jungler is here, but Moss will be spotted out first.
There's grand entrance into the quickness. Certain death will go just wide as they find damage in onto him. Can Crispy McDonald's buy time? Can they escape? Down goes the box. Griff will have to flash out. Moss in. Look at it's a teleport in as all 5 of Bandle City show up under tower, and they will collect 2. Griff and McDonald's visit gray screen, and they're going to take the bot lane tower as well. Meanwhile, we turn our attention mid lane. Leroy pushing in towers, getting plates here. TJ top lane doing the same thing. So they give up a lot for that play, but they do get 2 and the tower early. In the all-in, man, sometimes it's rough to be a bot laner in League of Legends, huh?
Yeah, bounties coming up for the Zon Plague. 1 and 7 on the scoreboard. They're sitting down roughly 5,000 gold. And Moss continuing to invade aggressively, going to find another ward at the Raptors and scout out for if Griff moves to them early on. But just going to go for a reset. Everybody calm down, and now we have our neutral objective in the top side. The Rift Herald has arrived on the map, and Gemsy trying to cancel out TJ, not going to find him in time.
Looking. Yeah,
TJ not able to finish out that Malignance. Going to need roughly 700 more gold for himself. Gonna wish he had that one going into this next play. But first items coming out for most of our players on the map. And setting up. Blue turret, another one goes down, so 2 towers taken by the Bucks. Most is up here at the top side.
Rift and Most in the same spot once again. These junglers just running into each other. And here is the hijack. Now they turn the attention onto Briar. Beautiful Unstoppable Force does land onto both. Gemsy brought down pretty low, but he's Ornn. He's so tanky. He's got plenty of defensive stats. And Griff will go down.
Certain
and
death
here,
goes wide.
McDonald's and Crispy, they're on the early roam. What is Gemsy able to actually buy some space? It's going to be a double kill already as now the 2-for-2 continues. Crispy cut down by Most again. It's a triple kill for Most. Last one remaining. It's a quadra kill. As bot lane, Leroy and Hope go all out. It's a solo Bolo in the bot lane after a quadra top lane. And the game has just broken wide open. A quadra kill for Most and Bandle City. A clean ace for the Buckaroos. And 1-12 in kills.
I have a 3,000 gold lead just ballooned out of the jungle matchup. And I mentioned before that if you don't have that heal cut and you don't drop them down, Most is going to be so hard to finish. Griff as well, but that Kingslayer is just disgusting when he gets to low HP. And I'm worried what he's going to find here in the pickup, but Crispy is in.
In from Crispy to try and make a play here on
certain death under tower.
Get the plasma stack landed. Griff going all in under tower, trying to just buy some space. Crispy will find the kill here onto Inferno, gets the second stack of plasma off, and it is going to be a double kill there. There's a lantern there. Will he be able to take it? He is going to take a tower shot for it, but will escape.
That charged lantern would have killed him if it was not for the Guardian proc right there. Dragon is up, and Most is back out on the map, so they are standing on a ward. This is going to be a Dragon pickup for the Dragon's soul point. Gemsy looking for the cancel, trying to kill Crispy, but going to be too far out of range. Oh, it does connect, but doesn't find it.
Oh, nearly. Down to 40 HP. Crispy able to escape with his life, but meanwhile, Most and the rest of Bandle City will just turn their attention here straight in onto the Dragon. This is going to be their 3rd Dragon, and it puts them to about an 8.5k gold lead. Just 18 minutes in, bordering on unsurmountable. So, and especially because they have the scaling. They have Ornn, that first ornament coming in at level 14 for himself. Next one you gotta assume is probably gonna go on this 6-0-4 jungle. But you know, lots of good options here for the ornaments on who you want to put it on, who you want to give those extra free stats to.
Yeah, it is. We look across the scoreboard, and it is zeros across the board with 3 kills onto Crispy. So the gold is where Zon Plague wants it, but it's just not enough of it to go around. 28.8k to 37.7. This is a staggering gold difference to have only 19 minutes into the game. TJ bumping into Inferno and Shadow Kitten should be able to get out of here safely, but he's only got Malignance. He is not a tanky Malphite just yet. 2 items, a full item down on Gemsy, with a roughly 60 CS advantage and 7 takedowns to his name. And so this is just... Zon Plague need to try their hardest to maintain their vision line and get every single drip of gold that comes into their side of the map as we move forward to dig themselves out of this hole and try to find some bounty pickups as well.
Griff able to actually pick up some of his jungle here, which, you know, when you're down this much gold, nearly 10,000 gold.
A luxury.
You know, yeah, it's kind of lucky to actually get to farm your jungle. So able to get some of that onto himself. And, you know, that can be one of the issues. What do you think about, let's talk about itemization and transitioning itemization in the middle of a game. Because at 0, 3, and 1, the Malignants build here, do you feel like TJ should have transitioned at some point, or do you like the Malignants rush even when your team is down 3 to 14?
I think he was already pretty committed by the time that they started ending up that far down. So I don't mind finishing the Malignants. The cooldown reduction is very beneficial to Malphite, but from here on out, if he builds another AP item, he's 100% trolling his team.
Well, I'm assuming he...
Look down.
Well, as McDonald's is trying to find Shadow here. Yeah. Little escape. They're in onto the Baron. Let's see if there's a miracle play on the works. Here's teleport in from Gemsy, but they find the engage. Down goes Most Inferno, able to Featherstorm Blade Collar out of this. Crispy is in onto the backline, but already Briar is dead. Down goes McDonald's. It's a double kill here for Hope. Leroy and Crispy, the damage for Zon, trying to make the outplay. A triple kill for Crispy when it mattered most, but Hope able to answer back with one of his own. It's a 4 for 3 for the team down 9k gold.
It's a 4 for 3, but it does... No, I was going to say, for a moment it brought our gold closer together, but then the Scuttle dropping down some more plates and bringing that gold difference back to where it was. But as we like to say, when you are behind, trading brings the game closer together. It is all about those item tier breakpoints and getting your items to those late games. And Crispy now continuing to pick up all the gold that they can possibly hand to him. 6-3-0 on the Kaisa. Even farm with Inferno, but able to find what he can in these team fights. And I like the initiation. I like the instant decision to go in before Gemsy can connect with that teleport, try to get it down as fast as possible, make the most of that unstoppable force. That's what they're going to need to do to bring this game together. And unfortunately, still no heal cut on the side to bring down Most. But if you have that target priority down and you can make sure to focus him all the way down to 0, then it can be done. Zonya's picked up and completed, here, though.
Yep, completed, as well as Seeker's Arm Guard for Hope. So look for those. Those are pretty gargantuan playmakers. Flash out from McDonald's will respect the engage, and that is called the Forge God on cooldown now for Gemsy.
It's not going to be backed up for this dragon.
But
picking up the box instead.
Yeah, interesting choice there of ultimate.
TJ, I don't think is marked, so I wonder if he just didn't wait quite long enough.
Teleport in from Leroy, trying to join together. Let's see if there's a certain death in onto the members. All 4 here in a box. Hope the only one separated. What are they able to find? Gemsy walks out of the bush.
I see you.
And it looks like the stall is going to go down. This should be a pretty big advantage here for Vandal City. Again, they've got a big gold lead. So Zon with their backs against the wall. They need to find the perfect engage.
Shadowkin standing in this banana bush.
Here's the flash engage in, straight in onto Inferno. But it's only the one. Here's the quickness from Shadow. Will find everybody but Crispy untouched on the back. Only able to cut down one so far. Most dashing forward, trying to find more space, but Crispy auto buying that. A beautiful flash away, but he's just a little bit too far down at this point of the game. It is going to be an ace, all for the support, and a nice counter engage there for the Buckaroos, able to punish Zon, able to outposition there and win that team fight.
Man, you see why we're highlighting Crispy coming back, though. Piloting that Kaisa so nicely throughout that team fight, getting every bit of damage that he's able to, but it's just not enough to overcome this monumental advantage. 7-23. This will be the Dragon Soul picked up, a Mountain Soul, which will make it even harder to claw this game back, as that shield and resistances stack up, the ornaments grow stronger, and the barrier gets
we're 24
higher.
minutes in. It's a 12k or 11.5k gold lead. But one of the things that teams struggle to do is close out games. So this is sorry, not Elder Dragon, but Dragon's Soul. However, they're still nowhere near full build. They still haven't gotten the first Baron yet. So I am kind of, you know, and the base has not been cracked open. So it's looking a little, I don't want to say hopeless,
I love
but
this.
low percentage.
I'm watching Zonplague set up this early vision control. They have the area. This is great.
Shadow walking in, and Inferno is here. They're going to look for the play. It's the all-in onto Inferno. They're unable to layer the CC. Inferno is going to flash out. Nice blade color will land onto 2. Certain Death in onto Shadow, but down goes TJ at the start of this fight. Hope now lasering in over. There's the Zanyas that we mentioned. The Seeker's arm guard this time. It's a double kill for Hope as 3 go down, and the trap is sprung, but the damage not there for Zon. Vandal City will pick up 3. They'll turn the attention to the Baron. Gemzy finds 1 for free on the back. It's a
connects with
kill
the
3,
hook.
get 1 free.
But yeah, it turns out to be just a nice little happy meal for the Ornn top laner, 4-0 and 11, the only unkilled one on the map. And this should open up Bucks to be able to push down an end. They have so much power in this siege, and Gemzy going to go ahead and open it up, make it a little bit easier as they try to close this one out. As you mentioned before, it's difficult to close out these games. It's always where teams can tend to stumble. But unfortunately, this was something we saw called out in the chat during the draft. Inferno is on the Xayah, uses that drops aggro, and then just can't be focused down fast enough. And that's all it takes for Zonplague to lose that team fight.
Yeah, I mean, TJ, multiple fights now, has Flash into Unstoppable Force straight in onto Inferno, but the chain CC unable to land onto that stun target. And so Inferno has had the half second that you need to press Featherstorm and get out of trouble. He had both times been able to escape, and then once that has happened, really, you know, the team fight over after that. I'd like to see them prioritize a target that's not Inferno.
Certain Death is up for Griff. He's going to use it to try to collapse here as the Call of Forge got
here
down.
as well. Inferno roaming up, so this is going to be a 3v3 topside. Watch out for the outplay. Here's the hook in onto Moss. Massive damage will come through as Crispy able to burn down as the plasma comes through. Inferno, there's the Featherstorm, will escape that damage, and then down out of the Featherstorm will finally be brought down. It's a 2 for 2 so far as teleports come in for Hope and Gemzy. Now it's back to a 3v3. It started out as a 3v3. So
Unstoppable Force burned, you know, and unable to pick up that Lancer, and Fear's gonna get them away, but now they have to defend this Baron push. And like you mentioned, it's so much damage coming down on the Most, unable to proc that Zhonya's in time with the CC stack. So nicely done to bring him down and give themselves a chance to defend this. There's so much damage coming out of Crispy, but Inferno able to pick up a double kill before he goes down.
Yep, I think a big greedy there to not Zanya's in that fight, but TJ standing where he doesn't belong. Leroy as well will have to expend the flash just to get out of dodge. But Crispy and McDonald's are back on the reset here. Crispy is going to pop his own Seeker's Arm Guard here. Hope extraordinarily strong. Late game Victor. Hook will land in onto the Victor, but the Victor marching forward trying to find his own kills. Leroy in the Magnet Storm now. Crispy on the steps of his own fountain. What can he do? Can he escape?
5 levels down onto Hope here. Level 17 on the Victor, as you mentioned, late game. Zonya's going down. Gemzy and Hope.
Yeah, he's in on his own fountain. I think Crispy is going to be okay here, but his base, on the other hand, won't be.
Hope taking 2 tower shots will go down, giving over a shutdown to Crispy. Gemzy may die as well, but
there's the quickness there. It lands, and this should be game. They won't make them suffer much longer.
Another flash ulti down onto Inferno just for the fun of it.
Inferno again.
Hook down on for McDonald's.
Right.
But yeah, that will be the game.
10-35. That game really all came down to the Quadra topside. What a play there from Most. Really able to just counter gank extraordinarily effectively in this matchup. So GG's to Vandal City, and they head to 3-0. Was a nice welcome back for Crispy, but you know, had a couple big moments, had a couple flashy moves, but unfortunately not enough to find the win on the return there.
Yep, you can see that Crispy's still got the hands. He wants to play for it, but they're gonna have to get a little bit deeper into the game. The Bucks really coming out with a strong game plan, keeping that priority on the objectives high, and able to adapt to whatever is on plague through their way. But with that, go ahead and get our payouts going for the Gamba, and we will throw to a short break. We'll be back with you soon.
Don't go anywhere.
All right, welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, welcome back in. It's the end of game number 1. Congrats to Bandle City. They're our first 3-0 team, first 3-win team of the season. Was really nice to see Zahn on stage there. Good to see Crispy back in the league. Feels like the league is back where it should be whenever Crispy is playing. So definitely was nice to see him. And we saw a little bit, just a couple flashes of brilliance there. You could see why he's so highly touted, why we're all excited to have him back. But ultimately, Bandle City proved to be the superior lineup tonight on the day, and they will walk away with a victory. Just one game though, and it's really all about preparing and getting ready for the playoffs. So we'll have to see how Zahn bounces back in the upcoming games, and if Bandle City is able to just keep it rolling. They look really good so far. Again, the mid jungle, really, really good. Most, put his stamp on that game. And it's not just AD junglers anymore. It's AP junglers you have to be afraid of as well.
Yeah, definitely going to be watching out for those Raptor ganks over the walls. He's clearly looking for invades, which is typically something we've only seen out of Whittle consistently in our past LCC junglers. So Moss showing us some new looks. With a talent player, he's going to be looking for those invades, those unusual angles. And clearly able to find them with anybody who can get over a wall, including Poppy with a Hex Flash. So Moss gank angle is one to keep an eye out, and I'll keep calling him out week over week. Watching out for those pink wards on the sides, trying to clear those away to give yourself some breathing room is going to be something to watch for. But great showing from the Bucks. Go Bucks. But that's enough about them. We got to get into our next matchup of the evening, the Targon Titans versus the Scorch. Another 2-0 versus 0-2 matchup. Scorch trying to tell a different tale than the Plague.
Yeah, let me see if I can get a quick ad read in. Let me see if this will pick up. Hopefully that came through.
It was weak.
Appreciate Dr. Pepper.
But I appreciate the attempt.
You never know if it's gonna, if they're gonna mute it out or not. So, anyways, here's 23 great flavors. But we've got the Targon Titans taking on the Shurima Scorch. Yeah, let me take a sip and then we'll do a rundown of these teams.
Yeah, take that sip and I will get into the Targon Titans. Targon Titans coming in tonight 2-0 hot off of their first 2 weeks. They have Frankward in the top lane, Aztec in the jungle, Minty in the mid lane, Harley Bay Jepsen on marksman, and the Crimson Yoni on support. Targon Titans looking great to start out the season, even though Frankward has not had the stellar performance that we've seen with their first entry into the league as a rookie, but that Urgot Gangplank ban presence has remained definitely a step cut above on those picks, but holding in for the team, and they've been I think largely playing around Carly and Minty for their damage, but Aztec, as always, a jungler that likes to play around those neutral objectives and try to side lane a little too much in the late game. That's just a personal opinion. Give us the rundown for the Scorch.
Yeah, the Scorch, a couple of hard-hitting names here in the top lane. Chaffles, he played in Season 3, he won All-Pro. He played in Season 4, no he didn't, sorry, he played in Season 2, he won All-Pro. He played in Season 3, he won All-Pro. He played 2 games in Season 4, and he still won All-Pro votes. He's kind of an enigma himself. It's Chaffles up there in the top lane for Scorch, the franchise player. In the jungle, penultimately coming in for Targon last year in the playoffs, went all the way to 5 games, and that's where in the forge that is game 5 is where the synergy was built on this team. Penultimately and Agateo were in that match, so that's why they're picked up. Blade here in the mid lane for Shurima, looking to turn things around after a poor year on Piltover. Looking to, picked up by the sun. It's a new day, it's a new dawn, it's a new sun for Shurima and Blade. In the bot lane, the Season 2 Finals MVP and champion, Agateo, and the all-time LCC kill leader himself, looking to stack him up and knock him down. And at support, it's Demi. He was an instrumental role player for Bilgewater last season. Really flexible in terms of picks. We saw the Tom Kench, the Senna, the Smolder. This year on support, we already saw the Senna, so we'll have to see what kind of synergies they're able to come up with down here in the bot lane. But the Scorch started off 0-2, but you don't want to play around with them. You might get singed.
Might get singed indeed. I typically expect that out of the bullets nowadays. Go ahead.
Yep,
Sorry,
absolutely.
I need to get into our lobby and check in on how these teams are doing. We're a little ahead of schedule, but if both of our teams are ready, we will go ahead and get into things. But no rush. Of course, our late time penalties kick in at your scheduled game time, not when the last game has completed. Everybody likes to get their games going, and yep, we've got a full lobby here. So when both of our teams give us a ready check, we will get into things. But with that, we can have a little bit of time to chat. How are things going, Jags? Are you excited? We're getting to game 2. How did you think about game 1?
Yeah, I think game 1 was really close until it wasn't. There was a quadra kill topside, and ultimately Most was able to counter gank really effectively there. I think Zahn is going to want to take a look back at that and look at all the time that Griff spent in the right place, but then they didn't pull the trigger. And I think all they had to do was just send that Briar ulti, 15 seconds earlier before Silas was in a position to actually counter gank. And I think if they make those small adjustments, I think that game really could have coin flipped the other way. But you got to give credit where credit's due. Most and Hope looking so good. Inferno was the target of I don't know how many TJ ultimates. TJ's got a personal vendetta against Inferno, it seems. He hit that Xayah with every single flash ulti that he had. So, yeah, ultimately, Zahn is going to need to kind of bounce back after this one. I think GemZ kind of put a performance onto TJ. TJ has had great games in both week 1 and week 2. Here in week 3, kind of, gave over that first blood and then, didn't adapt in the mid game. I think I want to see him, pick a different target that's not Xayah, that doesn't have the Feather Storm. So, yeah, kind of interested to see how that team comes along. I'm rooting for Zahn. That's my old organization. I want them to win. But, of course, only if we don't win. But, yeah, hopefully Zahn can do well.
Check in on this team. I can tell you.
I guess we can talk about Shurima.
Yep, we can take a look at our upcoming matchup.
Yeah, so, Targon has looked really good, but giving Carly Tristana 2 games in a row, to me, is an obvious and clear mistake. So I'm hoping that we see a Tristana ban here. They are on blue set. They could just first pick it if it's not banned. Meanwhile, Frankward for Targon kind of demands 2 bans of his own. So the Gangplank and the Urgot. So I'm expecting Gangplank, Urgot, Tristana. Then that's leaving up everything else for Targon. Minty on the Aria or the Lux, Aztec on the Skarner, Yoni has a multitude of picks now, of course known for the Sona, but has a couple different options there at support. Leona and Nautilus we've seen recently as well. So yeah, interested to see what Frank goes to and then what Carly's kind of second or third picks are. But the Tristana is definitely where Carly can take over the game, and we saw that in weeks 1 and 2. Meanwhile, for Shurima, Chaffle's on the Shen. That's kind of his famous pick. But do they want to play something that's focused on delivering that Stand United, that team ultimate, or are they going to be looking to win through top lane? The set is really what I kind of want to see them play. Does that get banned? Do they leave it up? I'm interested to see what they go for there. And then Blade was the target of a ton of mid jungle ganks. Do Aztec and Minty, did they learn that lesson from Vandal City, and do they employ the same game plan? And then also, has Blade learned from that? Is he going to be able to play safe and defensively? We went back and we watched the VOD, and his Xerath, he landed probably 75% of his Rites of the Arcane shots, his charges, but and did the most damage on his team. But just starting 0-4, 0-5 in the lane, just a brutal place to be as a mid laner, right?
It's always tough, and Xerath really feels bad when you start to just nudge behind your power curve just a little bit. It takes an extra rotation of spells to just even clear the creep wave. You start to be late to fights. You can't get that poke down before the fight opens up, and it really makes your life difficult. But this is a fresh week, and it's sitting at 2-0 going into 0-2. The Blade or the Scorch have not found their first win, but you can see the pedigree on the roster. Agateo, Blade, Chaffles, all Demi, all players who have had success in the LCC. Blade, one of our longest standing players, and ultimately coming in as a rookie in the jungle. But then we look over to the side of the Titans, or the Frost. Sorry, no, I was correct. The Titans. And it's another stacked roster, and this is an AD carry matchup I'm always excited to see. Carly Bay Jepsen going up against Agateo, our kill leader. And I'd say Carly, Agateo, and Crispy have been our highest performing marksmen across the history of the LCC. There's also our Sexy, but constantly switches roles, so not one to bring up here. And I'm really curious to see how these drafts shake out. Do we see, as you mentioned, a lot of focus down on Chaffles with the Shen going for the Stand United, gives him less ability to deal that damage for himself, like we've seen him last season, that where he picked up his All-Pro off those just 2 games of short-term contract play on the set, as opposed to such a defensive matchup for his team. So
yeah, it's not like he can't play the Cho'Gath or the set or the Shen. I think that one of the ways that this team wins is by dominating through top lane, but Frank is not an easy matchup. So I think Frank is maybe slightly underperformed, but that's just in comparison to how good the rest of his team have looked. I mean, Carly has really looked incredible. With Crispy out the first 2 weeks, Carly has definitely stepped up and looked like one of, if not the best player in the LCC. Now with Crispy back, we'll have to see how that holds long term, but yeah, I mean, I think this Targon team, this Targon lineup, definitely one to keep an eye on if you enjoy good high-level League of Legends. We are about to get into draft. It looks like we have a ready check from one side. Meanwhile, just to kill some time, I saw there was a little bit of talk about Pokemon over the break. So I went ahead and threw up a poll, but let me know what you guys think. Who is the best Gen 1 starter Pokemon? I threw the options in there. Get your vote in. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, it's going to be... I certainly have my opinion, but I see a couple of votes coming in. I thought about adding Pikachu, because that's kind of,
kind of a starter, but not.
Kind of a starter, but not, exactly.
But if you're concluding Pikachu, I'm going to throw out Porygon, who also is a Gen 1 legend. But we're not going to have that happen so no Pikachu. It's one of the best, one of the 3. Clone! Did somebody say Pikachu? I can go get Pikachu. We got time. I'm going to ship it unless otherwise spoken. Yeah.
It's fair. I didn't... The poll is not best Pokemon. The poll is best Gen 1 starter, okay? Pretty specific there. All right, we are into pick ban here for the game. And I heard Impure Fools, and that is an indication the Vayne is banned. And there's the Tristana, so we will get Carly on a new champion, which I love to see. Shen banned out here against Chaffles. Force him onto something new, something different. Xayah is the takeaway. So that means one of Frank's 2, Gangplank or Urgot, will be left up. Now, last time that this happened, they banned the Gangplank and they left up the Urgot. And he let the Urgot go through the first 3, and then it got picked up in the second wave of bans. So will that happen this time? You know that one of them has to be left up here. So what's it going to be? Do they play with fire? Do they even leave the Gangplank up and throw the gauntlet down?
Focusing hard. No, Gangplank gonna covered. Imagine it's gonna be locked in. Just taking some time to think about their choices. Kennen receiving a buff, I believe, on this patch, and then the Shen taken away. So classic takeaways, and then immediate Urgot. However, he's not going to let it go down this time. He said, I'm going to blind pick it. Bring me your best.
And this does kind of make it an interesting thing. Top lane, one of the most easily counterable lanes. And on red side, you'll often see red 5, that final pick, that final counter pick saved for the top lane. But the gauntlet being thrown down here instantly early in the draft from Frank. He says, lock me Urgot, pick me Urgot, and let me win. I will win you the game. What do they answer with? It is going to be a Cho'Gath. So this is flex. Could go a couple different places, but the assumption is this will be a top lane Cho'Gath as the answer into Urgot. And Chaffle's great at the Cho'Gath, but maybe this isn't kind of the hard carry champ that we were, talking about, 90 seconds ago in the pregame.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And our poll ends Squirtle winning with 50% of the vote. So shout out Squirtle Squad.
Squirtle Squad with the dub.
Squirtle Squad with the dub indeed. And Kaisa. So this is Agateo Chaffles locking it in early, throwing the gauntlet down.
I think this is the hero, the champion that Agateo has the highest ceiling with, and we see he's a player that plays up to the event of the game, in my opinion. So Carly is a well-known quantity, a really highly respected player when it comes to the LCC. Agateo, not taking anything for granted here, is going to pick the Kaisa this time around. Udyr Rel is the counter rotation pick here. So Rel for Crimson Yoni, not a champion that we've seen him play that much. And then the Udyr for Aztec. This feels like a throwback Season 2, Season 3 pick for Aztec. We haven't really seen him on Udyr very much.
I'm very interested in the Urgot Udyr 2v2. I think it's a very powerful combination to go for the two of them. You can go for that Urgot Fear combination, the Bear Stance. They can absolutely snowball an engagement if you find them in a skirmish, and they can get back onto you. I think Cho'Gath is going to be vulnerable in the long lane to the Urgot Udyr rundown. Doesn't really like playing into either of those, and so between the Zyra and Kaisa, probably going to be looking for mostly Peel. So where is the engage power going to come out for the Scorch?
Yeah, they're going to want something that can facilitate the Kaisa in team fights. I think it will probably come in the form of a jungle pick. But yeah, they need to round this out here. And I'm not sure if this is going to be... I'm assuming this is a Zyra support for Demi. It could be a really spicy Zyra mid. But I think the assumption, certainly where it's picked most and played the most, is support. But we see a couple of really weird flex picks here in the LCC.
That we have penultimately on the Scorch, and the Morgana jungle has come out a couple times, and Zyra I very much think is in the same vein.
Yeah, Zyra jungle
so keeping that
really
flex pick open
went down
is really nice
in popularity a couple of patches ago.
Okay.
So I'm interested to see. I mean, I'd be interested to see if they still go to it. It is it's fell off about 7 months ago, I believe.
Frostide calling out big Zyra jungle fan.
Yep.
Maokai
fairly confident in it. So the
here's that
Maokai here.
engaged.
And again, this could be jungle or support. So still Zyra and Maokai are flexible here. Could go anywhere based on kind of what they want to do. But yeah, that Nature's Grasp, one of the best engage ultimates in the game. Probably the single best engage ultimate in the game, that Maokai ulti. Carly hovering the Jinx will lock it in. So Jinx Rel, nice lane there. Not really a kill lane, but will survive. And then Rel able to provide some space for Jinx as the game goes on. Kaisa does fine into Jinx though. So a bit of a
Carly and Agateo both on hyper carries. We saw Kaisa hit 3 items with Crispy earlier, and the amount of damage on that on-hit build is staggering. What's the state of Jinx right now?
Jinx is in a really good spot, but Kaisa does win any all-in onto Jinx. So if he's able to hit him with the Prey Seeker, the Plasma passive will just obliterate Jinx in any 1v1 trade. But if Rel is there, can of course find something. Fizz picked up here, and I'm so interested to see where this goes. The Assassin is selected. Will this go into the jungle? Will it go mid lane? It looks like it's going to go a mid lane hover to start.
We're gonna
Zyra
have
jungle.
Blade Fizz going into the Minty Syndra. So Syndra banned out for Hope in game 1, but the Hope fan club is alive and well, said it's up. I'm gonna pick the Syndra. Not gonna take the Ahri in the blind pick matchup, but this Fizz pick has so much potential, but also could be a lot of potential for the side of Targon to tamp down this Fizz pick. As we finish our loadouts and both teams will load onto the map, we will begin our spectator delay, and we can get our predictions started. Get that gambling in. Let us know your predictions. Who won this draft?
Yeah, what's your take, Jace? I'd be interested to hear your opinion here. I definitely have my thoughts. I think we've got 75% of 2 team comps here.
I think I'm looking.
But
we can dig into the lane by lane matchups, but kind of looking at them as a whole, there is engage available for both teams. There's AoE damage. There's hyper carries to scale into the late game. There is wave clear. But I'm really kind of favoring the Targon Titans out of the gate, I think. Fizz feels like a really big variable to me, and I don't know how strong Zyra's clear is going to be. I think it's going to be fine. I think the really big focus for the Scorch is going to have to be on getting to these objectives early so you can set up these plants and get Zyra time, because trying to retake zones is going to be quite difficult. Really, your only option in is going to be Rupture or just throwing saplings and walking your way forward. So I think retake is going to be quite difficult, and I would almost rather see a trade across the map rather than try to retake dark areas.
So my concern with Shurima's comp is that they're all AP. I know that Kai'Sa can build AD. I know that Fizz can build AD, but Kai'Sa is much stronger, I think, with an AP build at the current moment, going like WMAX poke, poke build, and I think that Kai'Sa will transition towards the AD build as a result of that, and then Fizz as well, like, has
Kai'Sa building for that passive, but there is it is absolutely a predominantly AP team.
I expect Udyr to go full lethality, by the way. I've seen the damage that Udyr can do on full lethality. I've seen him shred an Ornn from 80% down to dead in less than a second on full lethality.
Also seen the lethality Udyr just die like paper, so it is risky. But that would be exciting to see.
Zyra and Cho'Gath have plenty of CC to cancel it out, right? So, yeah, I think it will be lethality. I think Rel will be the only true tank in the game.
I think Rel struggles to build in magic resist itemization, so that is one benefit they have going for them.
It should be Locket into Kanik, but it will depend on how fed Kai'Sa is. Because if Kai'Sa goes the on-hit AD, then you could justify something a little bit different, kind of like a what's the green shield one that you can put on your AD?
The Guardian? What do you mean?
Support item. Yeah, it's like that.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's like a green helmet or a green hat or something.
You're making stuff up.
Anyways, could be that item. Builds out of Kindle Gem.
Shield that you put on your AD carry? What are you talking about?
Yep.
Lock
and then when they take damage, you take part of the damage.
Oh, that's not a shield, but yeah.
What is it?
It's not Righteous Glory. The Knight's Vow.
Knight's Vow. Is it a helmet? It's not a shield.
Guardian's Vow. You were close, Bunbit. Not quite. It's a helmet.
It's a shield for your head.
Shield for your head. Yeah, whatever you want to call it, bud. That's called a helmet.
Well, okay, so yeah, very interested to see how this goes. I think both of our junglers are going to be straight damage. Carly does not have an easy job in this game. Very much more difficult for Jinx to find space than it is on Tristana. And yeah, we've got big changes here for the Scorch. Completely new champions, completely new identity. It was Jarvan Xerath last game. This time Zyra Fizz. So totally switched up. They had to predict the Urgot. They had to knew that they were going to be playing into Frank's Urgot, so they should be prepared here. As we are loading in onto the Rift, I'm going to once again speed to live. I think I'm caught up at live. I didn't really speed ahead.
Yep. We seem to be good.
13, 14, 15. Yep. Okay, perfect. And we are in onto the Rift for the Targon Titans versus the Shurima Scorch.
Why did the first game have so much delay for us loading in? Anyway, I'm happy it didn't this time. And we have an immediate move from the Scorch to try to go and get an early ward down. Minty will spot this
level
out.
Level 1s. We don't see level 1s anymore. Look at that.
We don't see level 1s, but we are going to see two
double
wards put
warded.
down. So that's synergy. They're on the same page.
A little bit too much on the same page. They both ward at the same time.
Minty just going to scout out with their own ward.
That ward will not see all of that bush.
Nope, so, it does not, but I don't think it's going to be significant in either direction. Just trying to make sure that nobody lingers after the initial play. And we'll see how this one shakes out. This mid lane matchup ranged into melee, so these first 3 levels are going to be crucial, but Frank wards
Frank,
one we gotta watch out
find
for.
here.
Ooh!
Massive winning trade.
And picking up the coal.
Beautiful disdain.
So winning that kind of trade with Cole is brutal. Urgot's spooky.
Yeah, already gonna be putting the pressure down, and once he's able to hit level 2 and he unlocks Corrosive Charge, you gotta assume that it's the poke will continue to get worse. Of course, if he goes Purge, which he has, he's gone Purge instead. So this is gonna help his wave clear, and he's gonna go for less poke, more push. And this will allow him to shove this wave under tower instead. Meanwhile, we turn our attention bot side. Nice early level 2 for Yoni and Carly down here. 2 of the longest names in the bot lane of the LCC this season.
Not the longest, though. Well, Carly might be,
got
but
a
we
longer
always
name.
just write Carly instead of Carly Bay Jepsen. That one's real long. I'm not doing it. So we can see an invade here from Aztec. Does walk over a ward to do so. Blade, predicting this, drops a ward after the first few minions drop. We have an engaged bot.
Yeah, look at penultimately is here. It's a flash in from Demi. A nice crash down. It will land quite a bit of damage. Can they turn and burn onto Demi? Demi brought down very low. Carly committing in. Gets excited after the first blood. It's going to be a flash, but it's exhaust down. Beautiful double stun from Yoni. Will disengage, and the Targon Titans, they win the 3v2. They turn the gank around, and they get Carly on the board.
And with penultimately showing in the bot side, Aztec is going to complete the steal of this top, the vertical jungle. And ultimately backing is now going to be down a complete quadrant in the jungle.
What a massive play for Carly and Yoni down here in the bot lane. They used the summoner spells required. 1 exhaust, 1 flash. They still had barrier and another flash in that lane.
I like the initiative. Clearly these teams did their homework. We see a ward out from Blade spotting the invade on the top side. They know they have to go ahead to do this. But then penultimately on the back, I wonder if should have just stayed. But ooh, engaged mid. Nice chunk down onto Minty. But CS lead is large for Syndra this early in the game.
Okay, Aztec going for his first gank will be spotted out. Good ward there from Chapels. But Frank has the freeze in a position where Chaffles is gonna need some assistance to get out of this jam here, and it does look like Aztec is gonna channel the recall, channel the reset, so he is safe for a little bit. But he did just see him topside, won't feel completely safe. Meanwhile, penultimately a nice counter invade does at least get some farm back. We'll
really thought that this was going to be pressured out against. Targon should know that penultimately is going for this counter invade, and quite delayed after resetting, then walking all the way back out to do so. But then not going to be harassed at all by Carly or Crimson. I think the Crimson Yoni could be looking for that as penultimately walks on division.
Here's the engage now, and it's another attempt bot side. They go this time in onto Yoni, but Yoni is going to find penultimately again. Can they get the passive? There's the barrier out from Carly as Agateo and Demi are trying to walk forward, the zap away, and they will disengage. So it's another escape from the bot lane of Targon. And Carly and Yoni are here to game. They're here to play. They make no mistake about it. Yep, they got a big lead for their team.
Nice shuffle outwards, and they keep themselves safe on the play. Aztec going to clear out this pink board, spots him out at the Raptors, and checking in on the top side, Frankward and Chaffles still duking it out. Frankward making the most of that early bounce. And Shuffle's feeling the pain, just trying to keep himself in that experience range and picking up what he can with the Rupture.
Aztec now bot, but he could look for something. Chaffles could set up the freeze topside, so we'll check in again topside after that comes out. Ward down from Aztec. They will spot it out with a sapling from Demi, but Agateo and Demi could be the attention of a dive here. Do they set it up? Do they go for it? It looks like Aztec is going to channel the reset, and they're not going to decide to go all in. Instead, Demi walking up, taking some unnecessary damage, but he does buy it. It's a flash in, barrier onto Agateo, but Agateo will be cut down. Meanwhile, the engage in onto Carly, ignite down, but the excited Jinx will find another kill. 2-0-1, and this bot lane has 3 out of 3 kills. It is rolling for the Targon Titans.
Shuffle's able to shove out his creep wave on the end of that crash from Frankward, so going to have a nice reset, able to collect a lot of experience and gold back that were being kept away from him. An early Merc treads from Frankward, so he knows that he's just able to use those shotgun knees to win these trades. And it's going to come down to, if Choffles is caught out above, past halfway in the lane, he's going to go down.
And he's farming really well. 6 minutes in, up to 57 CS. That means that early start cull is going to cash in very quickly here. Meanwhile, the bot lane of Targon walking up again. They've got the level advantage here into Shurima. What does Shurima need to do right now? They need to find ways to hit the item breakpoints. We're still early on. Jinx doesn't have the item yet, but yeah, for components coming through for both of these teams.
We're eyeballing this first dragon spawn, really, because Penultimately has level 5, looking to get that level 6, use the overgrowth down on a neutral objective such as that dragon. The plants are very strong at being able to DPS that down. On Vision, looking for another engage bot.
Oh, and there it is, the flash engage onto Carly. Carly this time left for dead, and they will donate the kill over. So decisive play, but the third time is the charm. First time is my fault, second time it's our fault, but the third time they make it work. Demi, the flash twisted advance.
Yeah, Demi finding it this time around. And as I mentioned, down now onto the dragon, Penultimately on the Zyra, going to be very quick at burning this down. Blade level 7 on the Fizz has managed to keep the CS difference close after that those early levels of Pain, Melee into Syndra. Ignite, Electrocute, Shark, all available, as Aztec sits in the top side, continuing to farm up. This is an AP
we could see a play here. Playful Trickster will dodge out some of this damage, and there is the Chum the Waters going down, Ignite ticking, and it's a kill mid, and Minty, flash used as well, just overconfident, thought that they could escape, let Blade walk up in the lane. Meanwhile, looking again in bot side, the level 6 is here. Here's the Magnet Storm down onto Agateo. Agateo flashing in, and now charged up. Carly has already cut down one. Can they find the second? Demi left for dead. It's a double kill. 4 kills for the Jinx just 8 minutes in.
Able to find the engage, but I think just down in the raw stats. We can look at the inventory. There's a pickaxe. There's 4 components into the hands of Carly, and I think that just did more than the single recurve bow that Agateo had. Ignite is preserved for the next engagement, but Demi also only level 5. I'm not sure if Yoni had... Yeah, Yoni drops ult on the play, so that could have been the difference maker.
All right. Well, big Magnet Storm there for Yoni. Also got the Ignite out as well, able to survive through that. This time, Agateo and Demi,
no, Ignite's
take
still up
another
for
2v2. Exhaust and barrier for the Targon bot lane.
Yep. We've got roams out to mid lane for Demi, so Agateo just trying to pick up the farm, but it is pushing away from him. He's going to need some backup.
Yeah, I'm not
sure
if they continue to just force it down here. It looks like this is their only game plan, is to force feed bot lane. But they're down 2k gold with this game plan. And it's 1 in 5 down here in the lane. The other kill, the second kill, coming mid lane for Blade. And they're down about 30 farm top lane as well. A true island for Frank and Chaffles.
Yep, 3 stacks left on that coal to trade in, so he should be able to pick it up here. Nope, gonna miss the last one, so unable to back and sell his coal if he wanted to do so.
Unlucky.
Chaffles is building tank, and I like that into this matchup. He knows that he needs to just make sure that he is a wall
Look
for
at Blade
his
and
team.
Penultimately. Walking up together, playing together here. Nice mid-jungle coordination here. Frank on the roam down. And Penultimately will just go back to her jungle. Aztec has been a bit of a mute point so far in this game. The flash stun in bot lane did find a couple of kills, and then after that point has not ganked too much. So still just hard farming, up 11 CS here at just 10.5 minutes. Meanwhile, flash in from Yoni will miss. Demi finds the engage, the counter engage, and down goes Carly. And so the quick burst from this side, and my goodness, how many kills bot side have we seen in this game? It's a double kill going over, and the shutdown for Agateo. It's been a total of 8 kills out of the 9 so far in this bot lane, a bloodthirsty bot lane in our second game of the evening.
Agateo going to be able to pick up his first completed item off that reset along with Carly. But engage topside, Aztec should be able to pick up Shuffles on the rundown.
And there's the Mercy in from Frank. Will they be able to actually channel it? It is going to be the rundown as they flash in and commit what is necessary. Down goes Chaffles, and now up 30 farm and a couple of turret plates as they chunk in onto the tower. Got pretty good at taking towers.
Aztec not going to find anything else in that quadrant as Penultimately and Blade reveal themselves in this bottom tri-brush. Yoni and Carly are going to keep tight under this tower. Penultimately has an opening to be able to steal these Krugs, but unaware of it as they just clear out the vision.
It's so clear what the game plan from Scorch is let Chaffles play on the island and then force feed Agateo in bot lane. That is the most obvious game plan. But it's gotten him 3 kills.
It had a rocky start,
down.
but Agateo is up 200 gold in the matchup. Across the board, they're down 2,000. But he is hitting those scaling points, and I think that last engage we saw really... Ooh, Frankward with a roam bot, and
Aztec here now.
Too.
Aztec and Frank looking to make the play of their own. It's going to be barrier from Agateo. Flash is down. He will not be able to escape. Can Demi get out? He will be brought low under tower, but finally an aggressive play here. And Frank is going to teleport back to top wave. So they brought all 4 down here ready to make this play. And Penultimately now potentially caught out on the wrong side. Will have to flash over the wall. Will escape. Nice little route there. Does land as part of the disengage, but yeah, Targon going to turn the attention to the dragon, and this will be their first dragon of the match, only the second dragon overall.
Engage in from Demi.
Yeah, I think these are just supports doing supportal combat, but Penultimately is going to be found out. The rocket comes across, and down goes Penultimately. Nice find here, as Blade is able to kill Aztec. They at least go 1 for 2. But can Agateo and Demi find the turn? It's Carly brought down to 1 HP. The stun's now coming through. Agateo, the killer instinct, in onto Minty. Yoni over the wall, the flash away. Yoni and Agateo, teammates from another life, champions together.
This
up. Time
does not connect.
At each other's throat. We will escape.
I was imagining that perhaps we would see Scorch give over that dragon. I mentioned that it's difficult for them to retake an area, but pushing forward aggressively, they don't manage to find the steal, but do trade some kills back. And Agateo and Demi playing again for just any kill that they can manage to get into Agateo's pocket, try to get him to those 2-3 items on the marksman, and let our LCC kill leader do what he does best. But Carly also on the list for potential kill leader. I love the flash forward for those traps to pick out Agateo in that play earlier. And 10-6 on the scoreboard. The Targon Titans are leading the way.
Alright, Blade now at the point of the game, 2 kills, Lichbane completed. This is where Fizz can really start to take over. It's the mid-game. Anytime that Gem the Waters is up off cooldown, it's very possible to find something, as bot side just brawling it out all the time. They cannot stand the side of each other. They keep just wanting to murder each other at every opportunity.
It's not cuteness aggression, it's just aggression.
Scared of the Week will land the ultimate out onto Blade, but Blade will Playful Trickster away from the rest.
I think Jack's just lagged out, but yeah, Playful Trickster will drop Velocity Balls.
Is used mid.
Everybody fighting all the time, but no kill's going to come from it this time around. Aztec and Penultimately both having the same idea, trying to rotate over to that top lane. And then matching each other again in the mid lane, bot lane. It's on
Let's talk
site.
optimization really quick, because we guessed that it
There's no time.
maybe caught out here. Is going to be hit with a Scatter the Reek. Here's Demi on the counter engage though. They go in onto Aztec. Are they able to find the damage? Chum the Waters goes down onto Minty. Minty is brought low. Aztec now has to try and run. Where's his bot lane? They didn't roam up to find and support him, and Blade will be there, picks up the double kill. It's 4-1 on the mid lane Fizz, something I did not think we were going to say in the Shurima Scorch
It's not
match.
over yet.
Here
Killer
goes
Instinct in.
Agateo, the Killer Instinct. He's got it as he draws 5th kill and another blood for Shurima.
Blade moving to the backside. They've already cleaned up 3
Blade's
of them. He knows
so
there's no one
aggressive
else.
here. Level 11 onto Carly.
He
Does trade under tower. What a play. What an aggressive move there.
He finds the
From
trade. Go
Blade.
check in the chat for me. I need to know what... Did Blade have a shutdown there? I'm not sure. But I think if he didn't have a shutdown, that's a decent trade for him. But otherwise, giving over more gold to the 8 and 4...
No shutdown.
A flash out of Chopples. I'm not sure exactly what that was for. But trying desperately to defend his tower as Frank would continue his reign of terror on this Urgot pickup. He's got the Black Cleaver, which we saw just buffed, as we mentioned during the pre-show, to better impact the melee AD users. And we have Aztec down now onto the Rift Herald.
Yeah, Leandre.
We mentioned you predicted a lethality. This is an AP Udyr, just so you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's the itemization I wanted to talk about, but we got gifted a beautiful team fight instead. I'm not complaining. But now that Leandre is completed for both these junglers, the clear speed for both of them very high. And this is why AP junglers were viable to begin with, as Demi is diving. Minty under tower is going to be the Chum the Waters into the Playful Trickster. Will Demi escape? He will.
Oh,
and
that's
it's
a tilter.
successful execution onto Minty.
So Scorch, as they heat up here in the heat of the sun, finding these picks, Minty, I gotta imagine. Oh my god!
What an ultimate! What a find!
Forget about it.
The
Forget what I
snipe.
was saying. You can't give Frank Urgot. Stop it. Holy cow. A Terra on the top side, a Terra on the bot side. He
Oh my
snipes out
goodness.
Demi with the fastest missile in the game.
Bradley
and the most
Cooper.
accurate hands. But now we're going for a collapse down in the mid lane. Blade is here.
Yeah, they're looking for Carly. Again, it's always going to be trying to find Carly in these team fights. If they can kill Carly, they're going to feel comfortable taking the rest of the fight. Here's the big Stranglethorns from Penultimately used in that fight. So their primary ultimate for disengage is going to be used there, and that should mean that they're backing up. Blade here on the roam over. Smite down. Penultimately potentially caught out. There goes the rocket just wide. Aztec brought down very low. Agateo will find it. Blade picks up the kill. 1 for 1 each. But here's Frank on the backside of this. Carly can't walk forward.
5 members here for
Frank
Scorch.
now separated from his team. All 5 together.
Teleport
and he's
coming
gonna
out.
try and teleport out.
And he
They
will.
will just let him. So attention turns to the dragon. And this is an incredible game here. We're honestly really blessed. 12 to 13 in kills. 3rd dragon being taken here. The twist advance now in onto Frankward as the attention is split. Dragon taken. Now the rest of the Scorch can turn their attention, but it's a Chum the Waters out. Lands onto Frankward. Frankward very low. They need a bit more. Scatter the Weak will disengage the rest of the team though. And so that is going to be Dragon taken for the Scorch. 6 kills now onto Agateo. 8 onto Carly. Both of these 80 carries well set into a place to carry. And the one name that you perhaps didn't expect, 7 kills on the mid lane Fizz. This Fizz, you have to respect the Chum the Waters. You have to expect the damage that can come out here, especially at this 2-item breakpoint. I think once Syndra is able to get some more itemization, able to get some more gold, we will see it swing back. But this is the Fizz sweet spot right now.
It's the Fizz sweet spot right now, but this is also the time where Frankward and Chopples have not been able to influence the game. There was a single pickup with that ultimate snipe from Frankward, but until now they've been able to just ignore the Urgot, and we'll see if how that proceeds into the rest of the game. Chopples picking up his scaling tank items. And so we're going to move forward, but he is down a full item into Frankward off of this stellar ergot pressure that he's been able to apply. And will these openings start to close for the Scorch?
He is down a full item, but it's a Kanik, and that's not what Agateo is building. So he's really respecting the Fizz and the Cho'Gath in the side lanes. Meanwhile, Heartsteel
as well as Zyra, so much unavoidable damage, and the Kaisa passive still going to bring a lot of magic damage to bear in these team fights. So it's going to be relevant, but I think it's a good call out. There's not a lot of armor on the map to deal with Agateo.
Right, and then I was wrong about the rel itemization. It's Bandle Pipes, first item. So Yoni now, as Demi goes in onto Yoni, will fill the crash down and the flash over the wall. Meanwhile, look at this rocket damage from Carly, able to chunk down Demi here. Demi holding onto the ultimate, does not choose to use it, as both supports brought down to about half HP. Aztec turning the attention towards mid lane, Chaffles towards the bot lane, and they're going to continue to push out these waves. Here goes Herald, and this will be mid tier 1 going down. The Herald coming forward will land a bit of damage. Look at this ultimate out from Demi, does a nice cross section here, lands in onto Frankward. Frank brought down to about half, will escape. Demi on the back, also able to get out. Agateo, relentless pursuit, goes to the side. It's a 1-for-1 so far, but down goes Blade. Carly left though, will get excited. Finds 2 in the fight. Demi and Agateo have to tuck tail. There's no flash for either of these teams, but another zap will secure another kill. And
Carly
the Targon
continues
Titans,
to get
Carly
excited.
able to kite around in that team fight. Not really paid attention to.
9 kills. Now the infinite Frankward Ergot machine gun is online. Chaffle's going to be looking for a burn down, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to find it. Flashes forward to dodge out the Scatter of the Weak. Does find the solo bolo onto Minty Bun. Well played there in the solo lane. So he said, I'm on an island, but I'm going to find myself a coconut. Find something on the sideline.
Beautiful predict on the Scatter of the Weak. Yeah, if you're a solo laner, you'll want to take a look back on that and understand the mind games behind solo play.
One thing to highlight in that team fight.
That opportunity.
One thing to highlight in the team fight before we have an inevitable skirmish breakout when we're trying to talk about it later is the amount of damage that the Blizzard coming out of Aztec with that Leandries and the AoE slow that it was creating pushed all of Scorch back at the end of that play. Agateo flash barrier to get away from that, and the Super Mega Death Rocket penultimately doesn't have flash available and does succumb to the Blizzard in combination with the Super Mega Death Rocket. And so that's one to keep an eye out for as we proceed through this. You can also see the double fawn coming out of Frankward and Aztec. So definitely itemizing heavily on the AP, on the magic resist. 45 seconds now to our next dragon.
I do think Scorch are going to want to be the aggressors if if they're unable to find a way forward. I think the sustained team fight does go the way of Jinx and the Targon Titans, so look for them to try and find picks, try and play around vision, and we see Blade topside pushing in top lane. Is going to reset though. There's no teleport for this top laner, so I expect a 5 versus 5. Frankward is top, but does have teleport, and we should see a big brawl for this dragon spawning in just 15 seconds here. Yoni trying to position, nice zap, lands some early damage here. Aztec far forward, and here's the ultimate in. Teleport from Frank on the right side of this fight. Watch this, but watch Carly. Carly's important. He's at the bottom of your screen. He's going to land a couple as down goes Yoni. Is Frank able to find the way in? He is going to look, find a bit of damage. Silence goes down. They're trying to find the way. Watch Carly in this fight. Here, Aztec and Frank are trying to find the way. Demi will have to flash out. The rocket out from Carly lands onto Agateo and Demi, but the Fear Beyond Death just going wide for Frank. They're a man up, but they will cede control, and the Targon Titans will take the second dragon, and they will tie on 2 apiece.
Yep, that's our 4th dragon of the game, 24 minutes in now. So both teams know that the dragon stacking is going to be a very late game win condition for them if they're trying to build towards that. But in the end, a kill picked up for the Scorch and none given back over, so clawing away a bit of gold even though they give up the objective. And not willing to over-engage into Frank. They know that Fear Beyond Death, and jumping in with that fear, he can absolutely one-shot a team fight. They're giving him the respects he deserves as the blue side Targon starts to move to position over to this Baron. And Demi and Yoni are going to have to move all of their vision over to this new objective.
Yeah, Blade has skyrocketed up to 7 kills and then really has found it difficult to find picks here at this stage of the game. So I'd love to see Fizz kind of find different angles and find a couple more skirmishes. I think Fizz does much better in 1v1s, 2v2s, and 3v3s than in the straight up 5 versus 5, which is what they've kind of fallen back on here.
Blade's showing in the bot side, but all of Targon are here up towards the Baron. And he does not have teleport, so if they choose to open up on this one, he's going to have a long way to run. He decides to back off. They've been off vision for a long time, so the Targon still have a bit of mental pressure, at least in the bot side, even though
they're
they don't
hiding
have bodies on hand.
Penultimately here. They do not know where Penultimately is, and so currently on the blue buff, but it does look like Targon could decide to head in onto the Baron. They're at least gonna take vision control and the scuttle.
They're flirting with the idea, but nobody's committed anything quite yet. Just trying to make sure they lock down this vision control, keep the Scorch on edge, and look for an opening.
Yeah, Minty has teleport, so answering bot lane, and this is one of the advantages of playing a control mage as opposed to an assassin. Blade, no teleport. The only answer that they can do is send Chaffles down there, and if they send Chaffles, then they have to walk into this fight with Demi as their only frontline. So, it does look like Vorpal Spikes are going to trigger the Baron. Baron's going to get a couple of licks in.
What do you think of the new Baron formats that we've got? They're kind of scary on some of them. They deal lots of damage, but the different changes in map, in addition to not only the Elemental Drake, we also have the new Baron Pits. There's a lot of variation on Summoner's Rift nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you ever dream of simpler times, go ahead and send me an invite to a classic game, and I'll play with you.
Okay, here we go.
Engage down on the blade.
Oh, nice playful Trickster, but that is the cooldown used. Here's tons of damage down in onto Carly, and they will find the assassination. Meanwhile, can ultimately escape herself. It looks like they might be able to find something down onto Minty, but it is going to be Chum the Waters just going wide. Will Aztec be able to escape here? What a find from Penultimately and Blade as they capitalize back onto Carly, and now pings going from either team. What do they decide to do? Do they go to the Baron? There's no Carly for another 15 seconds, but they don't yet have mid-tier 1.
There's been rough spots from both of these teams so far, but I do really like to see decisive engagements and also playing back when they know that they need to be kind of careful. Frankward on this Urgot is a powerful pick. He's got 3 completed items. He's up a full item and a half on Chaffles currently as far as net gold goes. Chaffles should be able to finish his at least 2nd item here on the reset, but not trying to take too much, trying to make sure that they can scale into the late game rather than trying to push it a little too far and ending up not making it to those 3-item breakpoints that they're searching for. Agateo is finding a lot of kills, but Carly 9 kills and of half an item.
Here's Aztec. Aztec on the roam around though. Agateo will have to flash into Raptor Pit to get out of this one. Aztec now into a 1 versus 3 ahead of his team, but Yoni is there as well. Carly and Minty, the damage on the left side of this fight. Watch them. A massive Magnet Storm from the Crimson Yoni, and it is going to end in 4 of the Scorch burning to a crisp. Blade unable to find anything after the playful Trickster. A triple kill for Carly. What an engage from Aztec and Yoni, able to set that one up as the damage in Carly and Minty knock down the Scorch, and this could be the end of the game here as they hit the Nexus Towers. I'm not sure what Chaffles can do. Level 16 has plenty of stacks, up to 8, but just not much damage at this point, and down goes the 2nd Nexus Tower as they turn their attention down onto the Nexus. Demi will come back, the ultimate coming out. It's a shutdown as Carly goes down. Are they going to be able to find the damage? Frank on the back of the Nexus, down goes Yoni. Nexus down to just a bit of HP, 290, 50, and it's a kill as Frank and Targon head to 3-0.
I thought I had more to say about this game, but all of a sudden we are thrown back, and it's a win for the Targon Titans, bringing them to 3-0. The Scorch continuing to search for their first win of the season, but it was a rough early game, but I feel like there was a lot more ability to play these team fights out, make sure to keep them long, and back away when they needed to, not try to overplay their hand. But the game breaks wide open with a great engage out of the Crimson Yoni and Aztec. I thought it might turn around poorly for them with that engagement, but able to survive the fire, and Carly stands alive, and just Super Mega Death Rocket gets excited, cleans up the whole fight, cleans up the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it came down to a really nice pinch from the jungle support of Targon, and just the incredible setup for Minty and Carly, and they made the most of it. I think that was an exciting back and forth game. I was a pleasure to cast, a pleasure to watch, but it did have the feeling of inevitability about it. We knew that Frank on the Urgot was always kind of persistent, and it had this kind of mousetrap quality to it where all they had to do was find one fight and snap, the Scorch were gonna get caught. So a nice game there from Targon. They head to 3-0. You can see why they've won 3 games, and they continue to impress us here in the LCC.
Yep, but we're going to go to the short break. We'll be right back, and we'll get into our Game 3 action. I'll be back with our guest caster, because Jags needs to go show us his skills on the Rift.
Yeah, be nice to our guest caster. We appreciate him for stepping in, so be nice.
All right, I'm going to throw us to an ad break, and we'll be back soon. Catch you later.
Hi, yeah, thanks for having me. It's going to be a good one. I think it was good. I mean, Scorch had some pretty good looks there. Most of it seemed to be hinging a lot on the Zyra engage and stuff like that, but
Oops.
I think they've been doing pretty well. That game looked a lot better than the opening 2 games we saw from Scorch, so no, it was pretty good. And then of course Jinx popped off, and we all know how that happens after one team fight. So
Yeah, it definitely can get a little bit out of hand. I like the looks. I like that teams are trying to search for their identity. It's only week 3. Everybody's going to get to the playoffs, and so it is all about that with the LCC. That incremental, like, just get better week over week. Show us that you can show up and show out.
yeah, for sure. Okay, never mind. Clone said he could only hear me, but we're good.
Yep, I got it fixed. I just forgot to
Lovely.
unmute this one.
Oh, good.
It's all fixed. But with that, let's get into the presentation, because we do have some stats to run down, and I haven't looked at them, so we'll have to parse them for ourselves live. But getting... Oop, that's the wrong screen. This one. Greyward Frost versus the Bullets, both sitting at 1-on-1, our featured matchup for the evening. And everybody's going to be excited to see how this breaks out. We've seen both of our 2-0 teams maintain their their top of the bracket standings, separating themselves further from our 0-3 teams. Which one will come out of top here, the Frost or the Bullets?
I mean, I'm just going to put my 2 cents in the ring. I'm going to say Bullets. Just
All
a
right.
feeling I have.
We have 1 vote for Jags and the Bullets. I'm going to bring us to the Frost first, our blue side team, giving us our roster rundown. The Freljord Frost, top lane, Dark Jedi. He's got the edgiest name in the league. In the jungle, he's just a whittle guy. In mid lane, you know him, you love him, our community manager clone, short little guy. And new to the league this season, we have Cross on AD carry. Welcome in as our permanent replacement for the Frost in the marksman role, and then Kalka, our sometimes our assistant guest caster on support.
Yeah.
This is a team that's seen a lot of success in the past. They've always had a lot of identity around, the Freljord, bringing in that CC. Whittle Guy has been a driving force within this team with his aggressive jungle playstyle, and always coming in with a plan. So I'm excited to see how that plan comes together today. We've clearly seen some preparation out of our earlier matches, and what will the Frost bring us? But of course, their opponents on the map tonight will be the Bilgewater Bullets. Give us the rundown, Hope.
Yeah, so Bilgewater Bullets now back to 1-1 after a nice bounce back last week. In top lane, they have Frostide. In jungle, they have Bomb Man. In mid, they have Spike. Spike top lane last season, now coming back to mid, looking really strong so far. In the AD carry position, I think it's Bell. It is Bell. And then in support, it's Jags. I don't remember all the teams, I'm sorry.
That's why I asked you if you're new to the roster, but here we go. You managed to get them all there. Bell, you have lane swapping down in the marksman role from top lane for this season, and showing up better week over week. Gonna have big shoes to fill playing with, self-proclaimed best support in the league. Support is so easy, Jags.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think Bilgewater looked a lot better in week 2, and going into a matchup like this, where both teams are 1-on-1, this is really where we're going to start to see who's going to be one of the top tier teams and who's going to drop down to the bottom 3 for right now.
Yeah, it's all coming down to tonight to see how our initial tables separate out. Only 3 weeks in, and we're going to have some big, I'm not sure how to say it, separations to point at. Let's go with that. But here are the all-time stats powered by Jags. He's on the stage, so he won't be here to break them down for us, but we can go ahead and give them a rundown. Let's go lane by lane. Give me your thoughts, Hope.
Yeah, so, I mean, Frostide versus Dark Jedi. I mean, Frostide obviously carrying the higher KD and a 7.6 CSD.
Yeah, these are all-time as well, so Dark Jedi, only 2 games to speak of.
Yeah. I think overall, Dark Jedi has looked quite well, especially with the I think the Mordekaiser last week.
Mm-hmm.
That was really impressive. Yeah, that was really impressive. Looked really strong for Frost for a while there. But we know Frostide, and we know what Frost is capable of. So I think in top lane I'm going to give it to Frostide.
Yeah, Frostide these stats are pulling in jungle from last season, so there's got to take it with a grain of salt. But we can look at the in the jungle. Whittle did not roll swap. Thank goodness. We don't need everybody to roll swap between seasons. But facing off against Bomb Man, who is sitting down 11, so that's a full jungle quadrant down at I believe this is our 14 cutoff. So CS differential at 14. You see that Whittle, always bringing a high KDA, likes to bring the action to himself, try to look for those plays. Bomb Man, of course, going to be struggling a little bit after those some rough performances in the jungle in these first two matches. But one to watch on, because I've seen Bomb Man carry some games personally. Give me the look at mid lane. You've played against Clone,
oh, yeah.
You've played against Spike. How is this one going to shake out?
I mean, going off of previous history with Clone 2, I think I got to give the edge to... I got to give it to Spike. Spike looked really impressive last week on the Akali.
The signature pick?
Exactly. Actually got through the draft as well. So Spike on Akali. If Akali gets through, it's going to be a problem for Clone. Clone, was on that lock last week into Targon. Didn't look the best. But at the end of the day, if you stick Clone on something like Hwei, you can always really just count on him to sit there, wave clear, and be that driving factor that a team like Frost needs in team fights. Someone who sits there, enables their top lane or their jungle, their ADC to actually be able to play the game in a much more impactful way. But Spike, again, very solid player as well. I think I have to give it to Spike, though.
Yep, I think it's going to come down to draft a little bit, because definitely there are Clone on the Hwei and Spike on the Akali. Spike out much higher than I think those other picks really show. But getting into the bot lane, these stats we can actually look at pretty well, because Cross and Bell, both new to the marksman role for this season, and then Kalka and Jags have a history, but these stats largely same across the board for KDA. So I'm going to bring us over to our next slide, just Season 5 stats. So this narrows us down, and you can see things change quite a bit. Frostide calling out in the chat about how we have, it's a little bit buoyed by just, the MVP jungle performance of last split, and this showing really what you were talking about, Spike having the advantage, up 24 CS at 14 minutes across the first two games of the split.
That's insane. I did not realize Frost was at a 0.5 KD. My bad there. But yeah, I think I'm going to stick on what I said. I've given it to Frost and Spike on bullets.
Frost and Spike on the bullets. I think there's a lot to be proven here for both these teams. They're 1-1 on the scoreboard. They need to separate themselves out from the chaff in week 3 and set themselves up for a good rest of the season. As everybody knows, it's a double round of robin. You're going to play each of these teams twice, and so this might be one to watch. How does this shake out in the second half of this split? Where have these teams gone since they matched up in week 3, 1-1 and 1-1? But all that to be said, we've got 5 more minutes now until we get down onto the Rift. Where do you think we need to focus on this game? Where's the lane matchup that's going to explode? Obviously, we don't have draft yet, but you can give me a little prediction.
Clone and Spike is going to be explosive, unless Clone is going to default back to his sit under tower playstyle, because Spike likes to make the lane aggressive. He likes to fight. He always is looking for something. Even in the game against me where he was on Syndra, he was looking to fight a lot. Same with the Akali last week. I think Spike's going to look to fight and make something happen onto Clone. The other lane I think we should watch is bot. Kalka against Jags with Bell and Cross respectively. I think is going to be another explosive lane. Top lane, I have a feeling it's just going to be tanks this week, or something, or heavy bruisers. But
do you think we could see a repeat of the Mordekaiser?
I think we could. If they let it through, that's interesting. It matches up decently into Nico's.
What are we going to ban then? Let's talk about that, because there's the Akali you've mentioned, there's the Mordekaiser, there's Whittle Guy's Ivern, there's Whittle Guy's Poppy, there's Clone's Hwei. I'm not sure of any signature picks that would be banned out for Cross or Kolka just yet. There's Bomb Man's Warwick, who we saw week 1. Warwick saw all 3 games, and he's really dropped in priority since then. But yeah, where's your mind going for where these bans are going to land?
I think if you are against bullets, you have to get rid of... I mean, I'm going to say if you're on... Yeah. Honestly, why not just go Braum, Akali, Smolder? It takes the Braum away from Jags, it leaves him as Thresh. It takes the Smolder away from Bell, which has been one of his most successful ADCs from what I've seen, at least, not just in season games, but on practice as well. And then you get the signature Akali away from Spike. Reversing that, I think if you actually get rid of Whittle's Ivern, and I think you either don't ban clone at all, or you get rid of the lock. I think playing into the Hui is a fine time. And then I think you either get rid of Mordekaiser from Topside and Dark Jedi, or you take away the Nautilus from Kulka.
Let's talk more about the lock. Do you think that's a ban that needs to come out, or has he been tamped down enough that it's dealable now?
I think it all depends on the matchup. Like, once we actually get in, there are still some unplayable matchups for Locke, but there are still those matchups that he absolutely dumpsters. You know, immobile mages, he can still shred just fine. I think it depends. It depends on a lot on what Spike wants to play and how Spike feels into it.
Yeah, the Bullets have counter pick, so do you think it's more likely that we see this counter pick invested towards... It's, you know, always powerful to invest your counter pick towards one of your solo lanes, but we've also seen within the LCC trying to bring it towards your pivotal player. In week 1, we saw it go towards Jags, I believe, to try to find an effective support to fill in their roster.
Yeah, I think that you save it for Spike here. If you get Spike counter, especially into Clone, and he's able to actually get Clone to interact with him, or roam and pick up stuff there, I think it will definitely be worth giving Spike counter. Because let's be real, he's a player who will perform when you need him to.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of performance that can happen across these teams. I'm excited to see Cross give us some more results to look at. Dark Jedi on the Mordekaiser, I really want to see that drop down again. And I want to see Frostide return to more of this MVP performance that we've seen before. Obviously, it's a role swap, and there's a lot of differences in so many matchups, and goodness, it's an entirely different world. But Frostide's such an aggressive player. And playing, I would say, off-meta picks. I know Master Yi, I've heard tell of on the top side. We saw the Singed on stage really struggle with against Most. And so, I'm not sure if Frostide's going to settle into playing some tanks. Maybe he's going to get some Ornn duty, or if he's going to continue being that terror in the top side and going for those aggressive plays. It's curious to see.
I think if you want to give Frostide something he can fight on and look impressive on, why not give him something like either, as you said, the Yi, maybe I don't think the Singed is the choice, but it could still be decent. I was thinking something like Renekton or Fiora, you know, characters that have that ability to fight and that I've personally seen Frostide do well on. So I think something Bruisery, that and Bruiser just got buffed, so Bruiser heavy go I think.
Is there do you think, will he be brave enough to bring Riven back to the stage? It just got like a Black Cleaver buff. Is Riven going to continue to be one that's left out there for him? I doubt we're going to see any bans after the first 2 weeks of performances towards the top side of that nature. Yeah. And so where are they going to land? I think they're going to land down onto Spike and Ballistic, and perhaps cleaning up the Bomb Man Warwick. Both of our teams are in here, but we are waiting until 9:03. Spike just getting home from work, so just trying to provide a little bit of leeway so Spike can breathe for just a moment. Spike, it's okay. It's all right. It's all gonna be fine. One thing, have you noticed that season over season we've had an increase in the priority of assassins that come through? I think Crispy doing some pioneering on that and actually finding the success, but year over year we've had more and more assassins sprinkled throughout, and it's always risky because assassins are risky by nature, but they're starting to see more and more success and more priority in picks and bans.
I think that assassins are always going to have their spots, especially in mid. They're going to have their spots, especially if it's a decent matchup. I think they're still going to be picked less than your traditional things like mages or control mages specifically. I think those picks like Syndra, Ari, Victor, stuff like that are still, and Hui especially, are still going to be more prevalent. But I think if you're an assassin player or a player who just does really well into a specific matchup and you want to take something and your Spike, you know, you take the Akali or Jade's Fizz from last game into the Syndra, you know, both good matchups. I think if that keeps happening, we could see an uptick in assassins, though. But I think overall the mages are going to still stay happily in mid and mostly bot.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see an elimination of mages, but it is interesting to start to see these assassin picks. People are gaining some confidence, I think. And not to mention, like, Locke, I consider Locke to play mostly like an assassin. It's in and out. You're not initiating the fight, really. You're trying to pick off a kill and guarantee your escape. The Akali has seen a huge rise in priority, I would say largely on the back of Spike, both playing in Season 3 mid lane, Season 4 top lane, and now back to the mid lane. Still playing Akali as his through line. And I'm excited to see how that kind of develops over time. We see the bans out in the jungle against the Talon for Moss. Have yet to see an assassin pick really come out of him, even though he plays everything like an assassin. I always like to say some players, just like Gemzy plays every character through the lens of Riven. Every character is just a different version of Riven, even though I know it wasn't his first character, but that's what it feels like watching him play. Of course, he's matured. He's really learned how to not int away every kill after he gets one. So real proud of yeah. I love the progression that we see of players as they've evolved within the league. It's always exciting to see.
Yeah, no, it's been fun, and I've been here, since the beginning, basically, when you were still playing, and yeah, it's been an interesting time seeing the league evolve and change and see the different types of people that come, the different play styles that people start shifting towards. If someone, like, I'll give myself as an example, I started in mid, went down to AD, went back to mid, went back to AD, and now I'm back in mid again.
Make up your mind.
I know I will never make up my mind. I'm going support next year. I
have you here in spectators. We've got ready from both teams. I think we will get into our draft here soon. Look forward to that. One thing I need to do is I need to add to our draft screen a little timer, so everybody knows what the timer is once we get into our spectator delay. But I'm not doing that right now. We're live. Nobody's watching. We're fine.
Okay. Yeah, we're chill.
They're saying that they're waiting for us. I'm like, I've been sitting here vamping for 15 minutes. What do you mean?
I was gonna say.
I'm waiting on you. I'm tired of making us stuff to talk about. I'm good at it. I'll keep talking.
We could just chat for the next hour. We'll see. Yeah, the Smolder ban immediately away from Bell is expected.
Yeah. Smolder, never an unfamiliar sight within the LCC, and neither is the Ivern ban into Whittle guy. He's spectacular on that pick, and it's one you don't get to practice against often, and you definitely don't get to practice against the Whittle Ivern. So respect ban coming through, and then the Alawi to follow up.
That's interesting. Yeah, so, I know Dark Jedi plays Alawi, and Alawi's in a strong state right now. It's just not what I expected after the Mordekaiser. Maybe Frostite has something for the Mordekaiser if they end up taking that.
Yeah, the Master Yi respect ban I must be for Frostite. I don't imagine that Bomb Man has had nearly as many games or the reputation on to that pick. So perhaps just not having a prepared answer for it, doesn't want to mess around. And we've seen the power of Jinx on that Get Excited. So just going to tap that one off the list. Cross and Ballistic going to have to a little bit deeper than that, go to the rest of their pool. And the Akali taken away, like you mentioned. Where are we going to see Spike drift towards next as Amumu's locked in?
Yeah, Nautilus from Kalka and Amumu. And Thresh is the answer. Okay, so both supports are basically on what I would call at least their signature picks right now. Jags on the Thresh and Kalka on the Nautilus.
We're going to see the Samsung White come out for Jags this game. Or we'll pay attention to the Thresh skin. He may go Janitor, but he likes to go Samsung White for Clash, and usually on the LCC stage as well. We'll see if he can get a win on it as we have our double hook matchup on the bot side. And Olaf can ignore all of this CC that we've seen locked down in this R1, R2. So that's always going to be exciting. Whittle guy on a carry pick. I'd like to see it.
Yeah. This is interesting. It is a flex, so it could go to Dark Jedi too, but I think it is a lot better on Whittle playing the Olaf. But they're going to hold the option to flex it. I think Whittle Olaf is going to be crazy if we actually get that.
I'm going to make a very, very old poll here. But whenever I see Olaf Jungle, I still think back to Nintendo X playing Olaf Jungle on the LCS stage. And oh my god, Nintendo X, what a legend. Not the only Nintendo X to show up in Pro League, but goodness, he's the one that I think of. But as we get into our second round of bans, Zeri and Caitlyn locked in for both AD carries. Zeri for Bell is, I know, one that he enjoys, but I don't think I've seen him play it. Are you familiar with this one?
No, not even close. I haven't seen it at all. I heard it mentioned because when I talked to Bell earlier, when I was still scouting out who I would potentially pick for my team, he mentioned Zeri. I have not seen any play of Zeri or anything like that. So probably just likes playing Zeri. I like playing Zeri even though I can't. So we'll see.
So Zeri going to be locked in here. Is it on hit Zeri or crit Zeri, do you think, right now?
It's got to be crit.
Okay, so
I don't think on hit Zeri has a spot right here.
What does the build path look like then? Do you can't go for Hex Octaves, can you, on Zeri?
I think you still can.
Okay, so that one's interesting.
Yeah, it's oh no, you know what it is? It's I actually think, yeah, you can just go what is it, Yuntal into Runons, and then IE.
Okay, in both, I think Runan seeing a buff. I'm not. I think Wild Arrows as well. So maybe this is a. Maybe it's a little bit of a buff. I'm trying to speculate on these picks that have seen their item builds buffed or nerfed within the patch yesterday, because all of that data is going to be largely just unavailable to us. There's just not enough games and sample size yet to settle things out. But the Caitlyn should be a bit more of a known quantity going through that Hex Optics into eventually IE for that crit build. Unless our Sexy's here, which he's not.
Ooh. Yeah, first strike Lux, is that you? So Spike ends up taking 4th pick here, and they're going to give counter to Frostide in top. Spike on the Lux. I don't like that character, but it's a good one.
Oh no, you love playing against my Lux, don't you?
You're different. I like playing against a lot of things that you play.
I'm special. But Lux coming through here for Spike is not going to be that assassin angle that I mentioned before, but it is an additional layer of CC and zone control to buy space for Zeri. Caitlyn with the long range going to be trying to avoid all of that CC as a Cho'Gath is locked in blind for Dark Jedi.
So that is Whittle on Olaf.
Oh, absolutely. I never doubted
that. Is amazing.
Yeah, so in safe blind pick on the Cho'Gath, there is an opportunity for Frostide to find a counter pick here. It's not going to be Riven. What else will we see come out? Could be, man, what if Frostide pulls out Darius? Darius Cho'Gath is a classic counter in my eyes.
Clone picks Victor into Lux. That's
so scaling matchup. Victor should have difficulty during the 3 to 9 levels to try to clear the wave as effectively as Lux, but I think largely should be able to win in the short trades. It's going to come down to how those Lucent Singularities land, as Frostide is on tank duty this week.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, hey, it is technically 2 tanks, unless Cho'Gath goes AP.
We got a front-to-back banger lined up for you right here.
This one is going to be interesting. It's going to come down a lot to which of the ADCs is going to be able to get on to the other one fast enough, because if Zeri can get in and get a good ultimate off, it is going to absolutely rip apart Freljord, as at least in statistics-wise, the draft from Bilgewater is just stronger.
Yep, Bilgewater. I'm looking at the side of the Freljord Frost, and I'm thinking Olaf wants to get angry and run in there, and then the Victor Storm is going to follow him in. But they have to run through so much, and it's going to be, how does the front line stand up for both of these squads? How can they buy the time that their team needs? And so I'm really looking to see what advantages Whittle Guy can build and where these jungle paths going to go. Because Amumu should start blue and should move up to the top side of the map based on what we know about just what Amumu likes to do. You start that blue buff, you get the earlier clear. Olaf could start on either side of the map, and I'm curious to see if he goes for an aggressive invade, as we know the Whittle Guy prepares for.
Yeah, likes those. I've noticed in both games so far. Whittle always loves those invades, as you said, and I think it'll be interesting.
It shows.
It's true. I wonder how it'll do into an Amumu, though. He does definitely need his team to come with him, because if he gets caught by Amumu, the DOT over the cry is decent at the early levels.
I think one thing to watch out for is how is Clone going to play these early levels on the Victor? Is he going to be able to get enough priority to be able to move, rotate over, and assist, or is Spike going to back Bomb Man and decide to able to make the difference there? Kalka and Jags, of course, going to be able to freely roam over to the bot side of the map. They've got Zeri, Caitlyn. They should be able to fend for themselves as they go back up their jungler. And so I imagine the top side, the blue buff, the red buff on the top side of the map is going to be where we potentially see an invade, see some showdowns. And that's one to watch out for. Cho'Gath should have the push advantage in the Mundo in the early game. I'm excited for this one. I think it could go either way. But let us know what you think as I get the prediction up. And hope you can say whatever you want.
Awesome. Yeah. I think overall it really is just going to depend on what the Victor and Caitlyn can do versus the Lux and Zeri. The burst out of Lux Zeri is massive, but the Victor Caitlyn does really well in sustained fights, especially with Olaf. I don't know. I'm still feeling bullets all the way, but I think it's definitely going to be an interesting one to watch. The other thing we should be keeping in mind here is what happens with jungle pressure and support roaming. We know from last season Kalka loved to roam up, especially on the Nautilus, exerting a lot of pressure mid and onto those neutral objectives, Grubs, Dragon, etc. And I think it'll be interesting. It all depends on what's going to happen early in that bot lane. I'm going to say levels 1 to 4.
1 to 4. I think this is a game I cannot tell just from looking at the draft. It's really going to come down to how things show up on the Rift. I think Whittle Guy has a lot of opportunity on the Olaf to try to make things happen. I think there is an easy fallback option for the side of the bullets. Amumu is a utility tank. You don't have to build damage. But one thing I'm curious about is Bombman going to rush a Leandri's? Or are we going to see a tank Amumu come out and play that frontline role? With the Mundo in the top side, there is a little bit of wiggle room to build some AP, but into an Olaf that could come back to bite you.
Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting one. You can always just go Leandri straight into tank like Sunfire and stuff like that. I think living, as you're saying, living until that point with the Leandris instead of tank is going to be rough for him. You know, Scuttle Crabs, early Dragons, it's going to be scary.
But you know those junglers, they love to build some damage. And I'm like, no, you're the tank. You look at your role on this team. Your job is to stand here and make sure they don't hit me.
Exactly. No more Imperial mandates on Maokai, please.
No, they love that. They love it. I'm looking at you, Aztec.
The Aztec call out.
As we get onto the stage, I'm going to hit plus twice and then let it go until it stops being fast forwarded. You should do the same.
Got it.
Oh.
Ooh, level
There's
1.
a level 1 flash pulled out. Who'd flash? Kalka flash to try to look for the pole.
Yeah.
I'm unable to find it. I'm going to continue on double speed until we can find live. This is a new thing for this season that I thankfully managed to break for us so that we can make sure that we're at the same time. Okay, so 126. I'm at live speed. Cool.
Yep, 129, 130. We're good.
And now we can talk about our matchups. As I mentioned, Little Guy's stealing the top side. They spot him out. They spot out Bombman on the bottom quadrant, and then Whittle Guy immediately.
Nice hook here onto Zeri. Jag's gonna respond with a hook of his own. Flash and ignite down. Looks like Barry are gonna be forced out of Bell as well. Bell dropping extremely low there in the opening minute and a half.
Yep, double-digit HP already. The early barrier going to save his life. Peacemaker not going to connect quite in time. There's no intel yet that the top quadrant has been stolen. Little Guy only picking up 2 of those camps, leaving the Krugs, so not trying for the maximum punish. But a great play in the bot side to set up Freljord Frost for priority. And like I mentioned, lock and load. Clone pushing up, playing for that priority, trying to make sure he can back up Whittle Guy. But the play is already completed. He has stolen those camps. And Bombman not even going to go check and find that those Krugs are indeed up. Hook out from Polka.
Oh, misses onto the cannon and onto the minion instead. That was almost there. Just a little bit of a misstep by Spike, and he would have been dead meat like that.
Yep, low HP, going to find that pressure. I like the look, but not able to find the play. A counter rotation over from Jags. They're looking for Whittle Guy in his jungle. He's got a ward out. He will spot it. Kalka's here, and it's 3 down on Bombman.
Flash from Bombman immediately as Jags is going to throw the lantern, and just like that, throws hook as well. looks like Bomb Man turning around a little bit as Spike TP's back to mid. It looks like they want to fight here.
Well, Bomb Man's got nothing better to do. Whittle Guy using the power of this early game Olaf, 28 CS to 12. He's going to get 3 full quadrants practically compared to the 1 that Bomb Man's been able to secure for himself thus far. Just going to look for a reset and then come back out and start clearing it all over again. So that early gold, we can check in on that. 400, 500 gold practically over advantage over the Whittle Guy. Off the fact that he is not only taking gold for himself, he is keeping gold away from Bomb Man. Spike playing aggressively with the shields.
Yeah, we can see a little bit of that all over the map at this point.
Yeah, Frostide down early on experience, but Dark Jedi unable to make the poke stick. Backs early and for a cheater recall and then comes back. Frostide, notably, we're going to point out here he's got Ghost, so we'll see if that has an impact later into the game.
Yeah, I also want to point out a Spike on the Lux actually backing Darkseal like I like to do, and then it picks up an Anthem on the second back. That Darkseal back, if you can get the snowball going, is insane.
I don't like to delay Lost Chapter. I think it opens up your ability to play, but I don't mind picking up a Dark Seal before the first item is completed.
Yeah. See a bit of a wet noodle fight up in the top lane here.
Bomb Man wants to interrupt that.
Yeah, here comes Bomb Man on the Amumu, throws out the bandage toss, flash out of Dark Jedi there, as it looks like more fighting happening in mid as well.
Roam out here from Kalka.
Back up. Ooh, no anti-CC as bandage toss goes back in here on the Dark Jedi of Doom. Is going to silence the Mundo, but is going to fall down. Nice rupture. First blood goes over, and it looks like Kalka and Clone are just a little bit too late to save Dark Jedi.
Yeah, I like the move to try to rotate up there, but I think the communication might have been a bit sloppy as Dark Jedi walks back in, tanks 2 full creep waves before Kalka is even within, in the river. And Dark Jedi forced to TP back out now. Frostide going to be happy with that one, and Bomb Man.
Ooh, hook onto Spike on the mid lane from Kalka there. Does end up just rooting him and letting him walk away.
Yeah, Kalka going to be hurting for some experience. Level 3, while Cross picks it all up in the bot side, level 5. So, gonna have to watch out for that level 6 power spike later on. But that kill pickup going over to Bomb Man, you might argue, like, should Frostide have it? I think critical here to try to get Bomb Man back in play after that quadrant steal from Whittle. And we're still waiting to see what's the next play out of Whittle Guy on this early game Olaf. King's down on the Dragon.
Yeah, this early Dragon has been interesting to see across the league so far. As basically whoever has prio and bot and mid just tend to go for it off rip, but sometimes there's a contention
Bomb
like
Man's here.
Yeah, it looks like Clone going to throw at the Q. Bomb Man throws a bandage toss back. I don't know about that one. If you went back in on that, it would have been bad.
No vision onto this Dragon, so they will discover it now. But a nice pickup. Whittle Guy maintaining that early priority. Over double Bomb Man CS at the moment. And in for the invade, Clone and Whittle Guy are going to pick up this blue buff. But there is no surprise there for Bomb Man. He is in the enemy jungle, and he should be able to countertake.
Oh, hook onto Kalka immediately. Has to flash away. They'll try to get some damage down. Clone and Whittle on the backside. It looks like a 4-man dive on bot side here, as Caitlyn ult's going to be coming down. Ace in the hole does land. Olaf going immediately onto that. Chaos Storm dropped from that as well, and that's just a 2 for 0.
Yep, they push in, they take the blue, and then they rotate over to grab the double kill. And that's going to make up for the lost CS in the mid lane for Locke. I'm not calling him that anymore, never mind. I'm just going to call him Clone.
That is Clone.
I know, I'm not calling him Locke. You can't bait me like this, it's ridiculous. Hail of Blades, nice trade. Frostide may look for a reset into TP, but he's going to want his first item when he can do so. So 900 gold in the pocket. Nope, going to look for the back. I expect we'll see the TP or the tempo. Kalka again rotating out to the top side of the map with Whittle Guy. But our first objective is spawning in 20 seconds. What will the reaction be out of the bullets? Jag's still positioned in the bot lane, looking to get that level 6 as soon as possible before starting to make his rotations. And I think with Bomb Man on the back foot, he has not been able to pick up that Curse of the Sad Mummy quite yet. This is probably a safe giveaway. But a hook first.
I Oh, hook onto Kalka here. Immediately hits. W thrown down by Victor. Spike forced to flash away here as Whittle's going to run at this Amumu, who now has no health, and now grubs are basically guaranteed.
Yeah, I'm not sure who picked up that Raptor. Did you see? I saw both smites on cooldown, so I'm not sure who managed to actually get the dollars there.
I did not see, no.
Jags on the rotation over, just going to reset. Bell and Cross both picking up their ultimates, but this early game Olaf is showing up for the Freljord Frost in a big way. 71-38 in the jungle matchup. They both have a takedown at least. There's 2 for Little Guy. Let's check in on our gold differential. 3,400 to 2,800 in the jungle matchup, and really just dialing in on there, not to pour more onto Bomb Man, but to highlight the difference in the draft. This Olaf power pick in the early game. This is what you want to see when you're picking that Olaf jungle.
Yeah, no, getting Olaf snowballing early has been a crazy strategy in the jungle for a long time. I remember 2016 Worlds, they did it with Peanut as well. If you can get it going early, it can continue to
We're looking for a Lantern gank bot side as the hook in Kalka.
Yeah, Kalka gonna throw that out, and Zeri gonna pop ultimate as well as Cross is continuing to fight. Mumu's gonna bandage toss down, does not ult yet. Flashes forward, drops the ult. Laser coming down from Spike, and Olaf's gonna immediately go Ragnarocking, trying to run through everyone onto the Mumu, though not a very easy target to take down, and for that Whittle is gonna be falling. Clone finally coming. Nice hook from Kalka right there. Chaos Storm dropped as well as the W. Victor floating forward, just gonna let that tick and take out Spike. Clone continuing to walk forward. You gotta be careful. Flashes the hook. Double kill for Clone on the Death Laser. Very nice pickup for the Victor there.
Nice play out of Clone. And Kalka finding the CC chain that locks Spike down, unable to find the Lantern to escape, and then killed by an auto attack on the way out. And then the flash out to dodge the hook. Nicely played on the second re-engage as the fight goes back and forth 3 times. And a great play out of both squads.
Yeah, I think if Whittle there just doesn't go onto the Amumu.
Hold on. Frosttide's got 3 giant spells. What's this about?
Yeah, that's what you do on Mundo.
What? Okay.
Yeah, that's what you do on Mundo.
That's the modern flavor? Okay.
Yeah, after you get Warmog, with 3 giant spells, after you get Warmogs, you immediately get the bonus. I'm not baiting you, that's just how it is.
It's just silly, but I know Frostide didn't come up with this. I'm sure he's looking at some Korean build. But we're looking for another hook mid down onto Spike. Not going to find anything this time around. And I didn't call it out here, but it showed on screen Whittle Guy continuing to steal some farm, and now behind Frostide.
Walking towards top side here. Whittle immediately going down. Sees anti-CC taking off Mundo, and they could not take it off earlier. So, here we go, though. Jags throwing out a nice hook on to Kalka here. Clone responding. Nice W. Stuns up the Amumu and the Thresh. Kalka to force to be flashing away. And light binding onto that. Woo, Amumu goes back in. Hook. And immediately dodges barely. Laser comes out from Lux. Olaf is here running through everyone onto the Thresh. You got to be on the Lux, my dude. Get on the Lux. Double kill for Whittle. But does not pick up the kill on Spike.
Down to 30 HP on the Lux. Or on the Victor. Man, Spike just going wide. I was watching as the binding falls, as the binding connects onto Clone. 5 seconds left on the lasers for the ultimate to finish him off, but then just not able to find the auto attack to proc the passive and finish the whole thing. And Whittle Guy running through with the rage carries the whole team fight for his team, and continues to be a terror in this early game. And he's looking to scale forward into the mid game and keep it all going. 6-2 on the scoreboard. The Frost are keeping it icy.
Yeah, and as we were talking about earlier, will Amumu go for that Leandris? Well, we see he's going for Leandris first.
Yep, doesn't believe in boots either.
After that, boots are overrated. Just damage. Go. You got enough movement with bandage toss, I guess.
I suppose. I'm a big believer in boots when you're in the jungle and your whole job is walking around.
I agree.
We'll see how that one shakes out. Malignant's coming out for Lux. I have less of an issue with Malignants now than I used to. And yeah. Spike, actually a player that we do see use the Lux Ultimate. I'm a big proponent that people don't use Lux Ultimate enough. Just ult people.
It's a 20-second cooldown, let's
That's
be real.
level
it's like
16 with 4 items, but still.
Okay, well still. Oh, and there's a pause.
Alright. Where's my button? It's time for the LCC pause. I need to update the screen because Jags put this together. I was going to put a slideshow together that it just cuts to a slideshow of all of the pets, but instead he's giving me a static image. And so this makes it difficult. This makes it really difficult to update with new pets. And so I still need to go through and do that. I need to go through the history of that channel and find every pet picture and download them because he doesn't have them. So it makes my life difficult. There's not a lot there to work with. Hope I don't have a lot of room. I have the chat turned off, so you'll have to track the chat to let us know what is the issue behind the scenes. And we're kind of looking at bot lane on the minimap. I see there is potentially another Lantern gank set up for Bomb Man onto Cross and Kalka. We'll see how that one shakes out once we get back into the action. Oh, who needs that? You know, one thing that really points out to me that Riot treats Spectator as second-class citizens is they just decided, you know where we're going to put the boots for AD carries? There's our post-pause, and then we will get back into the game. They just put the boots where your mastery, your Keystone Mastery is. Why? You can't put it anywhere else? Why would I look over there for their itemization? It's just crazy, and I don't like it.
No, it's weird. I think you could have made something make the sums a little bit smaller and then put it right up there. I don't know. It's
look
weird.
at the room between the CS, the KDA, and the items. Smush it a little bit and give me another row or something. I don't know. It's just.
Well, there's also the edge. There's also the end of it by. Oh no, that's only on one side. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think
the reality is, I'm just bitter because we don't have the tournament realm, and that's where they keep all of the goodies, and instead they give us nothing.
I miss tournament realm. Oh, immediately Dark Jedi gonna go and fight with that Hail of Blades, but Nico on the Mundo does get hit by Rupture. Looked like something was gonna be happening, but you know, Mundo versus Cho'Gath.
Yep, and as you mentioned, there's no ooh. Never mind. Engage him. Widow guy.
Yamubu immediately pops the Ragnarok, continuing to run forward as Bobman really can't do anything. Tries to bandage toss into the bush, finds nothing. And, well, Spike is there, gonna laser, as now there's a fight in bot lane here. Depth Charge finds its way onto Zeri. Does knock up Jags as well. Zeri pops ultimate in return. Lantern thrown out, trying to give a little bit of a shield. But that Caitlyn damage with just Hex Optics does a lot. Another nice hook onto Zeri here. Barrier goes down for Bell. Rose the Q does take out Zeri with just the built-over Peacemaker. Jags left running as Cross is going to continue to destroy that tower.
Yep, on the other side, Spike does make it out, forced to flash, and then run down a little bit between the towers after connecting deep onto Whittle Guy. But a great re-engage out of Kalka, going to catch out Bell with his flash up. And Dark Jedi continuing to throw down Vorpal Spikes. He's going to chunk out big... he chunks out Frosteyed well, but the Warmogs is completed, and he's just ignoring it between the waves. And Dark Jedi is trying to play catch-up on his way to his one Warmogs.
Yeah, another thing I just noticed, Amumu finished Leandri's up, but as soon as I say that, Nico walks up, throws a cleaver, and backs up after that. But Dark Jedi down 60 CS, but does have his Leandri's.
Yep, has the Leandri's, those kills making a huge difference. If he was unable to pick up those kills, he would be even further behind. And again, Kalka up here to the neutral objectives before Jags, and Bomb Man is going to pay the price, potentially. Nobody here to back up Kalka as Whittle Guy and Cross pick up the Rift Herald.
Yeah, I mean, just an absolute masterclass in macro from Freljord so far. Kind of putting a moot point on what I said in pregame, but that's okay. We like to see it.
I think a little bit of it is just that the amount of prio that Whittle Guy has managed to create on the Olaf, it makes it looking for those neutral objectives just something you don't even want to do necessarily.
Frostbite's gonna try to fight this Cho'Gath. Takes the tower shot and backs up.
You see 4 here for the bullets on the blue side, and they could be looking for Kalka, but not gonna move forward quite yet. Dark Jedi is probably gonna go down if he stays near this tower.
Yeah, as Mundo pops ultimate, Cho'Gath forced to flash away, and Frostide picks up the solo. TP out of Clone, responding to that as Cross and Kalka are going to continue to push down the mid lane.
Yeah, there's just not quite enough resources. There was a prophecy in the chat before this game started. As a Lux ultimate goes wide, Rift Herald is summoned up and is going to be ridden in by Kulka into the tower. Going to pick up that mid and open up the map a little bit further. Hook.
Ooh, nice hook onto Jags. Thresh drops ult as well. Hasn't thrown the return hook. Hooks a minion directly in front. And it looks like the rest of Bilgewater trying to get forward here as Clone continues to fight Frostide in the top.
Yep, Little Guy's got Ragnarok, but there's no room to play with, and they just back away after taking that tower. So Kulka looking for more, but there's just no room to play with an Olaf. He needs space to find those auto attacks. But I was saying the prophecy in the chat was that Frostide would 1v9 on this Mundo, so would really bring up his stats after the first 2 weeks. But he is showing that that Mundo pick is powerful. 60 CS up right now.
Yeah. Another thing to notice, Dragon is up. No one really starting it just yet, but without TP, Clone being forced to walk back down. That was a little bit of a window there. As a nice hook comes down, Blazer takes out Kulka immediately, and that's a nice pick right before Dragon. Nico just continuing to walk forward and tank two people. Nice damage from the Caitlyn right there, slaughtering through the Mundo. Mundo falls, killing Spirit for Cross here. And even off of that, Bilgewater just too slow to pull the trigger on the Dragon. They got a nice pick onto Kulka, and while Mundo was walking them down, it didn't do anything. As I say that, though, Rupture and Ragnarok out of the Olaf here. Olaf continuing to run forward, tries to bandage toss away. Nice hook from Jags onto the Caitlyn. Caitlyn and Jags are just fighting, as here comes the Spike. Spike trying to take out the Caitlyn. Does get the shutdown. 1 for 3 so far, as Freljord is just running this game over.
Oh, but Clone will run up and hand one back over to Spike. That's a couple more stacks on the Dark Seal. But there's just no answer to Olaf in the fight. There's an insane flash hook and then just even a flash backwards from Bombman trying to desperately get to the back line. But Spike doesn't have the damage to get through this Olaf. It's got to be Bell, and so we're looking to that 2-3 item Zeri to do so. And it's not going to come soon enough for the Dragon's Soul in 4 minutes. 5 minutes.
Yeah, about 24 minutes Soul without Zeri, even on, hopefully Zeri gets 2 items by then. She should, but it's going to be close. If Zeri can get up to 2 items at least, it'll be a better fight, but if she doesn't, it's going to be very bad.
I've got the gold differences up right now, and we can see the disparity across the map. There's a 3,500 gold lead over to Whittle Guy, a 3,000 gold lead over to Frostide in the other direction. In the mid lane, we've got a 1,100 gold lead over to Spike on the Lux, 4-1, even though it's 3-1-6 over to Clone. And then in the bot lane, we've got 3,400 gold back over to Cross. And so it's all over the place, even though our gold difference is only roughly 4,000.
Yeah, oh, Depth Charge finding its way onto Frostide here. They brought 3 people. Will Mundo be able to get out through the Rupture, through the Caitlyn traps? And here's Olaf as well. 4 people top for this Mundo. Dark Jedi picking up the kill as his entire team, except for Victor, is going to be there. Now Victor looks like he could be caught alone in the bot lane. But, nope, just actually plays a ring around the Rosie with the Amumu down there and gets out.
Yeah, Bell finding some pressure down in the mid lane, unable to pick up that 3rd plate. But bounties are up for the bullets. Little Guy continuing his jungle kingdom, stealing more and more camps. I wonder at the end of the game how many camps he will have stolen. I believe he's up to at least 8. And we're going to have some supportal combat. So. Not going to connect.
I think it is about 8. Now it's 9. Yeah, no, Whittle has been everywhere this game, stealing, as you said, everything. I don't know what they're going to be able to do to stop him at this point. Because if Olaf can continue to run through these team fights, Zeri won't be able to do anything.
Yep, Stride Breaker, Ragnarok, Black Cleaver. It's quite difficult to stop him. That flat, it's still flat, right? Did they change it to first?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that flat armor pen out of Black Cleaver is going to make quite a difference, and the Amumu and Shogath both not building armor quite yet. So we'll see how that one shakes out as Whittle Guy opens up onto Baron 20 minutes into the game.
Yeah, they also did just buffed Black Cleaver through, so it's even stronger than it used to be.
Yep.
What a
they
time.
know that this Baron is being taken. They have vision on it now with the Lucent Singularity. Going to be looking for a steal over the top that E will not hit.
Here it comes.
Not going to find it.
Taken by Dark Jedi here, as it looks like the supports are going to be fighting. Jag's going to be able to walk away. Bandage toss back into the entire enemy team. Bobman, what was that?
Bounty Claim bot side going to have a consolation prize for them, but I think Bombman a little bit too excited, bandage tossing back in. He's only got a chain vest to his name, and he evaporates. as our little grenade does not manage to make the difference. And the Baron up Frost are pushing down. Hook lands down onto Clone, and he pops!
Final Spark just obliterates the Victor, and the push immediately starts to backfire. And yeah, another LCC Baron push looking a little goofy from an immediate pick there.
Yep, and then we had a little bit of a what? Say the thing. Hope say the thing.
An LCC Baron throw?
Nah, classic overstay. Classic overstay.
Classic overstay. My
Classic
bad.
overstay. Come on. All right, everybody, get in the chat. Give him those notes. We have a retake down to the bot side. They're trying to set up this vision early and perhaps back for another set of wards. But Kalka here, 90 seconds out, dropping his vision. Will try to connect on a Frost side. Hits him, but finishes that last half second. You can't cancel. I don't think it was the CC reduction that did that, because you would still take damage.
Yeah, that's just funny to see. We love getting away at the last millisecond.
Yeah, Kalka and Little Guy cannot be contested as they run forward to clear whatever vision they please. Bomb Man is here, but that's one headshot, one hook.
Bomb Man's gone. Bomb Man's gone. Throws down the Curse of the Sad Mummy. It doesn't matter.
Yep. He fell to the temptation of buying the Leandries early on, and I think this is going to be a rundown topside, but we have a fight bottom.
God, yeah. Whittle going to run forward onto Jags. Jags hooked back in by Kalka. Does go pop, as now the Spike is going to go pop as well. Cross picks that up, going a 5-1 on the Caitlyn. And just like this, Freljord up 17-7, just running this bot lane in, taking the in-him tower.
Frostide should have been able to finish that rundown, but he's going to be forced to reset out here to defend this Baron push. And Dark Jedi turning around now saying, I can cancel this, but he's going to die for it to open up for his team. He's gonna die, right? Yep, there he goes.
There it is. Okay, shutdown goes over as Frostite is now going to finish pushing the top wave. Can't really do much, but Freljord, not with a massive wave, is just going to take the mid tower and leave. Go to their, get their soul.
Leave the inhib up, so taking the bot one, leaving the inhib up. The bot one will respawn by the time Baron is back around, and so those creeps will have already stopped by the time that happens. But 6,000 gold difference. Cross and Whittle are very powerful. Clone also catching up as the Dragon Soul.
They're going to try to fight for it here. Bilgewater finds a nice hook onto Whittle. Whittle does not have Ragnarok. Does go pop. Zeri picks up the kill. Frostbite picks up the kill onto that. Shut down onto the Olaf. Caitlyn picking up the kill as now... well, the nice try on the fight back here as, 3 for 3. Gonna be another one picked up as Cross trying. Almost gets the kill on Spike, but Spike and Frostide hold of the line. They
thought for a moment Spike was about to hand over another one to Cross, who was schmoovin' on the Caitlyn, finding that damage, but the second Whittle guy goes down, you can see the amount of damage and threat drop off for the side of the Frost. He is truly a menace. He's set himself up right now to flame Horizon his enemy jungler. But on this, in the same breath, Frostide is a monster on this Mundo pick, cresting almost 12,000 gold. He has, man, I'm looking at the other side, and Cross has the most gold in the game on this Caitlyn, 212 CS. And 8 and 6 for kills and assists. He has so much money.
Problem. Oh, Kalka going to be able to find Frostite on the Mundo here. Victor and Shogath going to slowly walk him down. Rupture finding it as Whittle's coming in on the Olaf. Got to watch the Amumu Zeri on the flank, though. Late bandage toss finds it, tries to get him out when he's at half health, but Ragnarok pop, and Kalka is going to be poking that one up. Shogath picks up the one onto Amumu. Final Spark coming out. Zeri barely getting out at just a little bit of HP. And, well, just like that, here comes Whittle again. Nice hook from Kalka. Picks up the kill.
Oh, the headshot.
3 for 0. 4 for 0. Headshot picks up the kill onto Bell.
Ace in the hole. Does connect. Can't dodge that one out. No teammate left standing nearby to tank it for him. And 4 for 0. And this should be Frost closing the game out. They have a TP in from Clone. All 5 standing together.
Spike just is gonna go. Yeah, Cross picks it up. Great game from Freljord here, really bouncing back and looking strong this week too.
Yeah, this game was just blown wide open by the jungling out of Whittle guy. I think it's easy to see that he had a huge influence on the outcome, and I think there was a lot of angles from the bullets to try to pull things back. But I'm not sure the Amumu really had the impact that they were hoping for. going into this one, and I wonder how much of it is down to that itemization really making it difficult to be able to go into these team fights. But of course, if you weren't, put a mile behind, you get that Leandri's that much sooner, and it makes that difference.
Yeah, I think the Leandri's first was good, but if you're down 60 CS almost the entirety of the game, I don't think you can justify going for it. I think you need to go Sunfire or something, or Abyssal Mask, or anything to make it.
The people
so
tell
you
me
can
that
play the game.
Sunfire is terrible right now, so I wouldn't go for that one.
Well.
I don't know. But the people tell me that Sunfire is terrible at the moment, so I can't say that he should have gone for that. I like we said before the game, I don't mind Leandri's first, but when you find that your first quadrant is stolen, and it feels like you're going into Olaf, your only way to deal with Olaf is to out-tank him. Your magic damage is never going to outpace an Olaf's damage when you're going for that duel, and you're going to have to deal with that damage to get through him. I think it this one definitely separates out the top of our table. We now have the Bullets sitting at 1 and 2. We have the Frost sitting at 2 and 1, and then our two teams at the top and bottom that were already 0 and 2 and 2 and 0 have maintained their position. And so you can give us a little input about that game. I'm going to go update our standings, and we can take a look at it.
Yeah, no, I think really solid play for all around from Freljord as they really just played to their win con. Whittle got a little bit of an advantage, and they were able to capitalize off that, showing that whenever Whittle gets ahead early or picks up a small CS lead, if he's able to push that, he is truly an unstoppable jungler. Clone's Victor looked really good as well. Haven't seen him play that in a long time, but I'm glad he brought it out. It was a really good one.
Yep, playing it patiently. He was just getting that wave clear and then scaling up into the late game. All he needed to do was make sure that he had resources and priority to be able to back up Whittle's play. And we saw that work out for them, and I think that's all it took to push this game through. If they'd managed to keep things a little bit closer, a little bit longer, maybe we could have seen the Mundo 1v9 through the top side, but I think overstepping to get a Heartsteel stack in the mid lane and then dying for it was a pretty big blunder to set up. Was that the third dragon? Yeah, it was the third dragon. So just not going for that play, and then respecting and trying to play for delaying that soul longer, I think could have made the difference. And so perhaps a little bit more patient and respect out instead of throwing the dragon so that you can get a Heartsteel stack might be one to look at. But here are our standings to end the week. Targon Titans and Bandle City Bucks remain 3-0 at the top of the table. Freljord Frost and Bilgewater Bullets have separated themselves in the center of the table. But I didn't have to update this chart, so it made it really easy because everybody stayed in the same places. Then Zon Plague and Shurima Scorch still hunting for that first victory as we move into, I'm going to call it the second half of our first round robin.
Yeah. No, this was the midweek basically.
Yeah, midweek, but exciting games. I think we had some good matchups here tonight. It's even though they some of them ended quite one-sided, I feel like there was a lot to be able to point at. I think for Frost here, it's playing around Whittle's game plan. You can see that he comes into these with a jungle plan. They scout out. They know where the Amumu is probably starting. It's a blue buff start for Amumu almost every time because you just have such a healthier clear. It's much faster, and then he's going for these invades. And so I think teams playing against the Frost, you need to ward up and you need to be ready for that level 1.
Yeah, we've seen it now for seasons and years. I think we all just know. If you don't know it by now, listen. Whittle is going to invade you. You have to be ready. You absolutely have to be ready. Because as we've seen time and time again, if Whittle gets that advantage, he's going to push it, and he's going to push it as far as he can until his team either wins or dies trying.
He's going to push it as hard as he possibly can. And if you have priority, if Whittle has priority in his lanes, he's gonna go for those kind of invades and that pressure into the enemy jungle. And it's not always going to be through the enemy jungle, but if you give him that angle, he's not afraid to take it.
Yeah, no, I think Whittle really distinguishing himself as a very solid carry jungler this season so far.
Yep, and maybe we see some learnings from last season where we saw him try to go for some carry angles through the Heimerdinger, through some of these alternative picks, and instead settling on the Olaf here, I think, and then just playing with his team, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think the looks for the Bullets are also strong. Clearly, there are some things to work on. I think Frostide having his best performance yet, but it's just the rest of the team kind of falling down this week compared to where Frostide was really struggling and the rest of the team was trying to drag him along. But it is always difficult when you are playing without that jungle pressure, without that knowledge that, okay, my side of the map should be pretty safe. And when it's not, life gets a lot harder.
Yeah, it definitely does. I think we saw a lot of good things out of everyone this week though.
Yeah, I'm always excited. I'm always happy to cast and bring us to the LCC. Welcome. Thank you for coming in for week 3. Do you have what else do we want to talk about before we close it up? Because we have covered our 3 matches for the day, and I know everybody's going to want to get out there and whether it's trash talk, review your games, or just play on the rifts. It's always a fun game Thursday nights, game nights.
Oh yeah, no, it's awesome. Vandal City undefeated. Let's go.
Let's go
anyway,
Bucks.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for to fight for Elior next week for sure now.
Yep. Keep an eye open for Whittle. He's the squirrely one.
Oh yeah.
But everybody, it's all about that incremental improvement. It is truly it's a league where you can prove yourself week over week, and we can see those improvements. Blunders are going to happen, but it's all about, keeping that mental strong and pushing forward. You will get to the playoffs, and those seedings matter, but they don't define everything. Good luck out there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be it'll be a fun season. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it goes into the playoffs now.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it for us here. We'll catch you next week. See ya.
See ya.